I got two hands, I got my mouth, I know how to earn money.
She absolutely does. She doesn't miss a trick.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody. I was up a lot earlier than this. I think I got up 3 times. 3 freaking times I woke up. Yep. Yes, I did. And it will be with you shortly. Okay. No tea yet. Just some warm water. What you got to do when you get up in the morning. Mm-hmm. Well, dropping like flies. Boy, the list is getting bigger and bigger and bigger for these expats that come here to the Philippines. What's going on with all this? Well, there's a lot of things you got to take into consideration. They're usually retirement age. And shit happens that maybe you don't expect, or maybe they came here with pre-existing conditions. Okay, another YouTuber bites the dust. Gaaawd Black. I am somewhat familiar with him. It's not because Heidi did a show, in part in regards to Gaaawd Black. What I know about the guy is that, like a lot of the losers out here, they all fucking had criminal records in the United States. They're, again, obese. He had quite a large belly. These were people that did not eat right. These are people that didn't take care of themselves. It seems to be the MO for a lot of these vloggers that come out here. And they're coming out here for the wrong reasons, really. Yeah, to start a new life, that's fine. And it's fine to come out here to start a new life, but I think under better conditions, I think starting a new life out here is an admirable thing to do if you're just not satisfied with where you were. But I think a lot of the reasons are the wrong reasons that they're coming out here. And it always seems to be that they're running away from something. Now, this guy, Gaaawd Black, I don't know, was he 63? I don't know what the hell. Wasn't that young. Big belly, actually. Didn't eat right. He's been in jail, in and out of problems in the United States. Like all these losers that come out here, they're all running away from something rather than towards something. It should be the other way around, coming out here to look forward to something, but They're usually running away from something. That's sad to know. Well, I guess Gerard Black was a good friend of, was it Calvin? Was it Calvin? I think he was a friend of Calvin's, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Sunshine Shoulders, that's right, Sunshine Shoulders. I don't know. All I know is I haven't really followed the drama on that, but one day he's normal, next thing you know he's in a wheelchair. Looks like he's having neurological conditions, said that he had nodules on his spine, on a nerve or something. So I'm not, and I just couldn't watch all of Philippines Antics show. I'm not sure what killed him. I'm still trying to get that straight. He just died of something. All I know is he had seemingly something neurological. And listening to one of his recent shows, he was talking about how he had some nodules on his spine. I think the idea was to go back to the United States and having this shit taken care of. But, well, pretty obviously, I guess he didn't. And I don't know what stopped him from doing it. I think he was going to try to take care of things locally here, which would have been a very expensive situation, maybe 600,000 pesos, somewhere along there. I just remember him talking about something to this. But it seems like they're dropping like flies. All the people that have passed away in the past few years, I don't know, it's like an elephant. They know they're sick and dying. They have a special spot they go to die in peace, elephant graveyard. And I guess these are the elephants, sometimes literally the elephants, because they're big enough. Like I said, you want to eat ramen all day, you want to do this and do that, that's wrong for you. Don't expect a good result from it. I know this guy did not eat well. It was very apparent from his, rather large stomach. Same denominator. Denominator. You have a good day. You leaving now?
Yeah.
All right, be careful on there. Imagine going to school this early to be there for 6 o'clock. What strange school hours. Because everybody's becoming a statistic on here. A lot of them have the attitude, oh, it's never going to happen to me, it's never going to happen to me, but then it happens, and sometimes suddenly. Now, I don't know the total details, and I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't feel like going through Heidi's show, the whole thing. It's a hard thing to do. Looking at the theatrics of her and George wearing wigs and doing all kinds of stupid things to get attention, to make money. You got to make a fool out of yourself and embarrass yourself just to get the audience's attention. It's either total drama or a combination of, like the title, Philippines Antics. Who cares? George's going to wear another wig, or she's going to wear a wig or do something stupid. Now, she's a person herself that knows she's that elephant that's out to the graveyard to die. Lupus and different other health conditions. But yet still eat sweets and everything else and say, oh, I'm working on a good diet, to lose weight. When you're fighting something that's bigger than you, and if you look at them, they're awfully big, but you're fighting something that's bigger than you got to put the attention in the right direction. what can you do to not further your medical concerns? And if you're at that point, you got lupus, you got this, you got that, take a hint. Maybe it's time to stop dicking around on a YouTube show, wearing wigs and talking stupid shit and talking chismis and finding reason and rhyme to find drama with other channels like this couple absolutely does. The whole purpose, and admits that that's what they want to do. She should be back in the United States. As far as her situation, she should be back in the United States and stay there. But then again, that big problem that everybody talks about, that most people can't afford to live in the United States. So they'd rather take that chance and come here and maybe not have the money for any serious medical condition or incident that could happen. Oh, you're up early. Good morning. Or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I guess he died. His name is Gaaawd Black, and I've seen his show a couple of times. Generally other kind of vibrant. The last thing I knew, he was in a wheelchair, and I guess he's a friend of Sunshine Shoulders, and Sunshine Shoulders is feeling bad for him. They're both African Americans. Gaaawd Black, and I don't know what state he hails from in America, and I don't know what town he's living in the Philippines either. But to make this shit worse, and this is the stupidity, not only, they're carrying around an unhealthy body, being out here, being overweight and everything, but at his age, I don't know, was he 63 or something? Young wife, the usual scenario, and they got a baby, an infant, well, a toddler, whatever. And what I understand is the guy drops dead. Again, there's so many wrongs I could talk about with this guy and how expats do things. Number one, you shouldn't be having a baby at an advanced stage. Unless you have this thing about, wanting to carry on your name or something like that. But so the question is, how fair is it for the child, to grow up without a daddy? Because, let's take it, you're taking a chance having a child at that age. And a lot of older guys maybe can't have a child for whatever reason. Ain't got the spunk anymore, but a lot of them do. So you bring a child into the world, stake you made at your age. And it's not fair to the kid because the kid is not going to be able to play and have his father around in his life. And I really think that's wrong. Yeah, go ahead. A baby, yeah. Well, there you go. Tax money going to pay for that kid for 18 years if he's on Social Security. People are sick. Well, he's living in the Philippines, or he was. I believe so. Yeah, he was. I don't know. I guess you'd have to catch George and Heidi's show, the last show they did. As I said, quite honestly, some shows I just can't listen to for any length of time. I just get the gist of what they're talking about. And I happen to be familiar with the guy a little bit that they're talking about. He's a good friend of Sunshine Shoulders. You mean you're not going to be listening to me, Counterflow, on your headphones? Going for a walk early. There you go. There's your motivation. God, man, motivate me more, Jeez. Well, the exercise should come first before the YouTube live with me. But I lazy out in the early morning. I got a guy at the block that walks his German Shepherds every fucking morning before it's even light out. goes to the beach, he gets his exercise, but the dogs get theirs. They get to run and walk around. They go in the ocean, swim, and that's pretty cool. My dogs are not like that at all. They're not like that at all. But this is the best time to actually go for a walk in the morning because it is cool. There's no excuses whatsoever to go out at this time in the morning. Sometimes you got to really force yourself to do something, but you got to do it. Yeah. Of course, I got an alternative thing, the treadmill and some other stuff, but I got alternatives. Some people don't have alternatives. But anyway, Gerard Black, another YouTuber, I've lost track. I've kind of lost track of the vloggers that have passed away. I've had plenty in the past couple of years. Lists are getting bigger and bigger. Well, they're coming of age. They're getting older, and shit happens. And sometimes you're not aware something's going on until some kind of telltale sign, whether it's a kidney stone like I had, or when you get extreme pain, you think you're going to die. Believe me, you have to have it to understand that. A 9mm stone, that'll do you in. It did me in, I'll tell you that. But any telltale signs, you should be kind of on anything else. I think you should be just rough and ready, just go out and see, the thing is they go out for x-rays. And as this guy said, the x-rays don't really show up everything. You got to go for like a CAT scan or something to get a more definitive look at what's going on inside your body. Okay? That's how it works. Some people procrastinate. Yeah. Nobody plans their death, but suddenly something happens, boom, it hits you hard. You don't even know what happened. Some people don't even get a chance to say goodbye to their loved ones. I mean, that's just what happens. But this is what's happening with a lot of, it's worth talking about because we're hearing more and more of these vloggers dying. But of course, again, you got to also realize they're retirees, which means they're older, they're senior citizens, and shit happens after a certain age. And expect the unexpected sometimes. But if I have to, I guess I can force myself to listen to Heidi's show and try to grasp a couple of more details why he kicked off. So this is kind of how it's been. YouTubers are no different than anybody else. They're still people. They're humans. Well, some of them are subhuman, but shit could happen when you least expect it. And what do you expect? People are seniors. A lot of shit happens. And they happen to be YouTubers, so you happen to hear about their death. And you say, I just saw this show maybe the other day or something, And they seem fine. But with this guy, I think there was a progression of things. I don't know. Supposedly he had these nodules on his nerve in the spine or something. And he had to wind up in a wheelchair at home. He's doing shows for a wheelchair. Then he had this very unusual behavior. The last show I've seen of his, he was acting kind of a neurological thing going on while he was talking. Then something hit. I'm not sure what it was. But as I said, it was kind of unbearable to watch Heidi's show. So I'm going to have to force myself to do that. I mean, if I really care to find out. But I get curious sometimes. Like, hey, what would hit him? One thing you know, he's got a thing with nodules on his spine or something, or on his nerve or something. In the wheelchair, next thing you know, he's dead. So what the hell happened with that? That's kind of one radical thing to another. Well, I think it is anyway. Yeah, dropping like flies, appropriate title on my show here today. Oh, Don's crying again because I proved him wrong about the white-tip shark. Don, you just can't win with me. Just give up, man. But, Don gets the entertainment value out of this, so. Don's been wrong about me ever since he's ever known about me on YouTube, and he's always trying to prove himself all the time, but then he fails. Oh well. One day he's going to fail totally, like he's going to be dead. And look at what he looks like now at his age, and he's younger than me. I don't, death is at his doorstep, along with a few other people on here. I mean, look at Kevin. Look at these characters on here. Death is at their doorstep. There'll be more people to report, I think, before the year is over. This is what I predict. Now, most people didn't know Gaaawd Black. I knew of him prior to Heidi talking about him, because I knew him through Sunshine's Shoulders, who I don't watch religiously, but I tune in now and then to see the bullshit he's talking about. Every one of these people, they got a past. They were running away from something in the States or wherever they lived. It's just amazing, isn't it? How much in common a lot of these YouTubers have. Checkered past, running away from something. Look at Brevis, look at all these people. Fazio, who was running away from his responsibilities in Florida, and the bank he screwed over, and everybody else. I mean, they all running away from something instead of towards something, and it seems to be the common denominator, along with obesity issues and possibly other health issues or risks. I hate being right all the time, but most of the time I am right. And not because I'm some wizard and I can predict the future. Sometimes I wonder, but it's just, a lot of it is just logic. If you live an unhealthy life, extremely unhealthy life, well, what do you think is going to happen to you, really? That means you just got a better chance of having a lot of health problems than others, and you'll follow the signs, because your body pretty much speaks to you all the time. You know your body better than anybody else. Can't be that ignorant, please, that you can't tell when there's something wrong, and just go and have it checked out. I don't know, maybe they're afraid of spending money, maybe, I don't know, I can't tell you. Money sometimes is an issue, or they think, oh, let's just go away, it's just a passing thing or something, or, I'm not worried about it, or, some shit like that, But you gotta pay attention to the signs. I never consider heartburn just being heartburn. But if you have reasons to have heartburn, like you have GERD or you have a hiatal hernia, then you say, okay, yeah, I get it. That's a good possibility. But if you have other signs beyond that, that's when you can't be complacent. And you have to say, okay, well, I have to investigate this a little bit more, because heartburn is one thing, the possibility of a heart attack is another. If you have symptoms that go beyond the normal symptoms of, say, for example, heartburn. Make sense? Yeah. But the list is growing. Man, I'm telling you. The list is growing on here. You'd almost think it's a conspiracy of some evil figure out there that's saying, you're going to die, you're going to die. No, I don't think that's happening. I don't think we got that power. You never know. But it is happening. And more we're hearing about some bloggers that may be somewhat popular that is just biting the dust. They say, well, what's going on with that shit, man? Well, there's always something going on with that shit. It just comes down to the same thing. People, I don't know, man, they just don't take care of themselves or don't give a shit one way or the other. Everybody thinks they're invincible. They also think they could get away with every damn thing they say on YouTube, but that's not the case either. There's a lot of people that have met their demise through other people on YouTube. Oh yeah, that's the reality. These are stories that you don't always hear, but they exist. And maybe they're not popular vloggers that you're familiar with, but It's a big world out there on YouTube, not just the Philippines. Oh no, not just the Philippines. A broad spectrum of people out there that becoming history in the making, Don't really want to talk about a morbid subject like that, but this is something that's been going on a lot. And some YouTubers have been on for a very long time. And some people are familiar with them, follow them for years. And they can't fathom the thought that this person, passed away. Oh, I just talked to him the other day, or he just had a show yesterday, or something like that. But it happens. They were saying, here today, gone tomorrow. It could happen just like that. Just like that. Poof, the magic dragon. Poof, gone. Well, it's sad to hear these things, It is. Well, that's part of the life cycle. There's life and there's death, and you personally may have had something to do with it. And it's not always genetics, my friends. It's not always genetics. Not always. Can't blame it on genetics all the time. It could be something about your lifestyle. If you're bad enough to smoke, if you chain smoke, which I don't, but I know people who do, and also drink religiously on top of that. This is good. Oh, now that's yummy. Oh, my God. Oh. I'm not even going to tell you what I'm eating with my tea. Wow. That was good. Actually, this tea is a little bit too hot to drink here. We go through a lot of rituals in life, and like me, it's having a tea in the morning. That's my thing, my thing. Never been a coffee drinker. So Gaaawd Black, if I'm not mistaken, he bit the dust. Friend of Sunshine Shoulders. Shit happens, man. But here's the thing. You don't dwell on shit like this. Yeah, you try to live your life the best you can, but at least be aware of any ailments you might have. If it's something you haven't taken care of, maybe it's time to look into it, Oh man, I didn't want to touch this stuff, but I'm going to anyway. That's right, I'm having, like I said I was going to have today, there was these homemade bakery chocolate chip cookies. Came in this little plastic package, really, really good with the tea. Man, I needed that. Like I said, I have my sugar fix here and there, but I don't go overbound with it. In fact, I've been reducing my carbs, which is more important than actually worrying about your cholesterol. I don't want to get into that again. A lot of new information is coming about cholesterol, but the only thing, if it's like really out of whack, I mean, not 100, but 400 or so, yeah, then you got a problem. But okay, we're not going to get into that. But anyway, yeah, they are dropping like flies. Question is, who's next? I got my ideas. I was when I was listening to Kevin's show. This is a prime example of what's going wrong in this fucking world. Now, and I've said it 1,000 times, and you heard it 1,000, and you told me 1,000 times that these are grown-ass people doing shows like that. Like Kevin has a lot more to worry about than putting a show on about me, honestly. So do the others. If they're supposed to be living such good lives, why do they spend so much time obsessing about me? And that's, that's a red flag right there, showing that their life is just out of control. I don't blame people for listening to my show. I put on some good topics. But am I worth stopping your life for? Freeze and spot, as if like the Philippine anthem just came on and everybody got to freeze in a spot and put their hand on their heart and listen to the anthem, which is what they do out here. I've actually been in a mall when it opened in Cebu. And I don't know what suddenly happened. Music came over the speaker while they're waiting to go in and open up the doors. And everybody stood like a statue. They didn't move. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're putting their hand on their heart. And there's this Philippine anthem coming on. I say, oh, shit. That's devotion. That wouldn't happen in America. You can't, all of a sudden, someone plays on the speaker the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't think people in the mall somewhere are going to stop in their spot and put their hand on their heart or something. That's the difference in the Philippines. When they honor something out here. That's at least one of the differences anyway. Someone named Gerard Black, and he's a friend of Sunshine Sodas. Is my understanding that he passed away. And I don't know. It's not like I really follow the guy. I know who he is, but I don't want one thing led to another, because Sunshine Shoulders did a show about him, his best friend. And now he's in a wheelchair, can't do a lot of things for himself. I seen one of his last shows, and he was eating breakfast, a bunch of eggs and stuff, and bacon, not bad, the combination is bad. And seemingly having some neurological shit. I don't know, he did talk about having some what do you call on his nerves in the back? He had some nodules. I don't know, next thing you know, I hear him that he's dead or something. See, it just happens like that. See, look what happened to Fazio, man. But this was going on for a long time. Fazio is the poster child of what not to do, actually. He's one of them anyway, besides Kevin and people like that. Fazio is definitely was the poster child of what not to do. And, sometimes people cheap out, or maybe they just generally can't afford to have some proper treatment done, and they just let it go. But there was no excuse on Fazio, because I'm not even sure he was even getting Social Security, because I don't know. Because I don't think he paid into the system at all, because he worked independently on jobs. He, I don't think he worked on the books for anybody. So the question is, did Fazio have a Medicare card? Was he getting some kind of Social Security? And I have to be honest with you, I don't know. I really don't know. He had to be living on something, you think, but not just dependent on his own antics to get donations on his show. I don't know. I don't know everything. But he had a hard time with health issues, and he was doing everything wrong. So I don't know, dude. What do you do? Do you feel sorry? Do you feel sorry for these people that intentionally just don't take care of themselves? They do all the wrong things. Does your heart go out to them when certain things could have been preventative? I don't know, man. I know how I look at it. It's tough titty. If you knew you had some serious problems, if you knew, as compared to not knowing you had a problem that all of a sudden came up on you, but he knew, with a festering wound for how long he had that, sepsis, I guess, set in and shut down his heart and everything at the hospital, and that could have been prevented. And that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing. That people are dying for certain things could have been prevented. And they ignored it. Because they were too cheap to see a real specialist, or they was just too fucking dumbass or so cocky to think they were going to live forever, they could overcome anything that comes their way. Like, he was one of these people. But the show's not about Fazio, just using him as an example. He's a prime example on here. But we have others too, like, Kevin and people like that think they're so healthy, but they're obviously not. You can see their diet, you can see all that crap that they eat, And, all you can really do is sit back and think to yourself, well, yeah, it's going to be a matter of time. You're going to hear something sooner or later on one of these people on here that are obese. And then here's a funny thing. There's a vlogger out there that likes to get his 10 or 20,000 steps a day in there. Let me compare it to something too. But yet the guy is so grossly obese, and these people, they'll even go to the gym, but they just can't control what they eat. That's the problem. They can't control what they eat, so that it doesn't work out for them. Whether it's going to the gym or walking 20,000 steps a day. Sure, the 20,000 steps a day could be good for your cardiovascular system, absolutely, but it's counteractive with the fact that you're not eating the proper food, so you're very obese. So I never, maybe I never tried to understand it really. I just do what I need to do, And I shouldn't really be worried about what anybody else does, Which everybody actually should do, is just be concerned about themselves and what they do. I mean, you could be a nice guy like me and say, yeah, well, look, I'm going to give you some advice or something. But, most are not going to take your advice, and some actually have. I know they have. But you can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do. They'll just continue their ways, and then someday something hits them really radical, or they just die on the spot. And it's over with. Whose fault is that? It's their own. It's not mine. If anything, I think I've tried to help people in here. But you know how that works. Good morning, sunshine. Good morning, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Welcome to a new day. I'm talking about how a lot of these vloggers are kicking off. Another vlogger died. You don't familiar with him, Gaaawd Black or something. Same shit. Ran away from something in the States rather than towards something. Came here with probably existing health problems that, oh well. They got nobody to blame but themselves. Ramen eaters. We got a ramen eater out there. We got a ramen eater. Oh, I was laughing. Kevin did this big show yesterday, probably familiar with. Then I had done a show, actually while he was doing its timing, And of course, Kevin was saying all kinds of horrible things about me. As usual, nothing new about that. Then he felt he had to do another show, and Jay got on again, because Jay was on his show. And Jay was at his best, drunk as usual, It sounded like he was having a conniption of some sort. it was actually funny to listen to. Well, for the parts I did, but I was actually doing a show. And Kevin came on again. He came on a second time. Only because I had done a show. Does it sound like a Heckle and Jekyll routine or Barry and Frank routine or something? Because it actually was. Kevin wants to get the last word in. Da 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 da. Adam, do you know how many times can I say this, man? What a monumental waste of fucking time. And that'll go for me too. You know, all of us. It's such a monumental waste of time knowing, let's face it, most of us don't have a lot of time. Once you start coming to your retirement age. That's a fact. But it's more important for people to be so goddamn hateful. And when they can't win and get their way, they're like a little baby that's got to get their way. Like the terrible twos. You know how children are around that age, they call it the terrible twos. And they are. But these are grown-ass adults, mind you. They're grown-ass adults. Well, adults as far as age. Mind-wise, that's different. That are acting like emotionally disturbed children. And people like Kevin and Jay are very emotionally disturbed. Jay got into extra drinking when his father died. He's been making a fool of himself ever since on YouTube. I like to get Jay going. It's really easy. Talk any factual things about Jay and he falls apart. And you could hear it in his voice when he comes on Big Kevin's show. He likes to come on and kind of voice out his opinion on stuff. But his opinion is not backed up on any fact at all. The fact is, he did get rolled by his good friend when they were living over in Manila. And I never said it was 400 US dollars. It was equivalent to $400 in pesos. I never said it was. And Jay come on the show and said, why would I carry, American dollars, mates? Why would I carry that? I don't think I ever said it was American dollars. I said it was the equivalent of 400, oh, hi, Pennywise. Of the equivalent of 400 American dollars. And he did. Well, he passed out. Barry took advantage of it. The reason Jay denies this is because it was an embarrassing situation. Yes, Jay does have seizures. I remember they did a show and Barry said, well, Jay, yeah, he had a seizure because he had a reaction to a medication, but it was still a seizure. But then Jay said, listen, mate, I don't take any prescription drugs, but your good buddy Barry said that you did. Which is it? Which is it? Make up your mind. It's one thing or another, I can tell you that. Make up your mind. Can anybody ever just tell the fucking truth about anything on here? Apparently not. Just spit it out. People do take medications, man. It's not a terrible thing you have to take medications. Well, it's according to what you have that you even have to take medication for. But nevertheless, I'm just saying, that's all. That it's part of life sometimes that you have to take a medication. Whether you want to or you don't want to. People have different conditions they take medications for. Don't have to hide it. But then again, you don't have to talk about it either. You're not obligated to talk about the medications you take either, in all fairness. But Abbo Man, he's got a few problems. Mentally and physically, he's got an alcoholic habit. And he doesn't just smoke. He chain smokes. He likes to point out the fact that I still smoke, but I don't chain smoke, and I don't smoke as many cigarettes as this guy. You could see him in one session when he actually goes on his own channel. And I'm telling you, it's like Barry. When Barry was smoking heavily, it was one cigarette after he. There's probably times he had another cigarette burning and didn't even know, and he winds up lighting up another cigarette. That's a chain smoker, man. That's some serious shit. And Jay's worried about preservatives. That's why I'm laughing too. He's got bigger problems than worrying about preservatives. That's the least of his problems. It's talking about people that, well, you eat frozen foods. Yeah, I do. I do. But a lot of the frozen foods you're forgetting are vegetables, and they're perfectly fine. Mostly. That's what I buy, whether they're blueberries or different kind of vegetables, spinach, Brussels sprouts. You know, healthy stuff, Jay. Healthy stuff. I'm not here on a fucking ramen diet like Kevin is because he's so fucking cutty put that he wants to save money and use everybody else's. I told you there's a similarity between all these vloggers. Either unhealthy, either come here with pre-existing conditions, they're all overweight, they're all running away from something rather towards something. The pattern is there for everyone to see. It's not hard to figure out. Charles says, Jay said Barry has a tool like an anaconda. Why would he be looking at that? Good point. Good point. How would Jay know that? How would he know that? Were they kind of funny with each other? How would Jay know that? Yes, I remember that statement. Yes, Charles. I do remember that. You're right. I absolutely do remember that. How would Jay know that? I don't want to look at somebody else's, junk. Why would Jay want to see Barry's junk? What was going on with that? There might be more to the picture than we know between the two. Would that surprise me? No. Look, I've been on here a long time. There's nothing that surprises me about these people. There's absolutely nothing. We got 20 strong, 5 thumbs up. We're hitting it lately, buddies. And my subscribership is also going up too, folks, to let you know. I'm not buying nothing here. Kevin got upset yesterday because, he made an excuse why. I abruptly ended my show because what happened was he had a bunch of viewers. Then I did a show and I had 33 watching, and Kevin's drifted down to 20, drifted down to 14, drifted down to 12, and he wanted to save face, so all of a sudden he abruptly ended the show. This way he could listen to me. And after I did my show, he had to come back again and counteract what I had to say on my show. Which was, some people become very predictable. And Kevin is definitely predictable. I knew he'd do another show, and he did, and he wound up doing it. Coincidence or just knowing these people? It's knowing him. No, he'll come back to the States, but he'll find an excuse to do it. I just want you people to note this, that's all. That's all I want you to do is just to note this. Just note it, that's all. This way you know I said it, and I predicted. Because he can't stay out there much longer than he could. It's not in the cards for him, it really isn't. There's a lot of things that's not in the cards for that guy. But I just love the way all the haters come on Kevin's show. All the haters that exist out there. Always trying to get something on me, but they just never succeed. And they're dependent so heavily that this complaint that Barry's brilliant girlfriend put on me, and they're hoping and on their knees praying that I get deported. Now, Jay's the one that says, I got a 5-page documentation here of a resolution that never existed. It never existed. Because there is none. Anyway, that's what we're dealing with. There is none. And don't you think I would have a copy of that? But no, Jay says I got a 5 pages right here. Well, I kept on telling him. Nothing ever stopped anybody before if they had a document that was legit, that they wouldn't show it. That would be the first thing that they do. They'd be in their glory to have something like that. Well, as far as Barry having a tool as big as an anaconda, could be true to that. But who knows? But at the same time, how would Apple Man know that? And why was he looking at Barry's so-called anaconda? Oh, well, I don't know. We know Barry's a freak of nature anyway. He could have had a big old anaconda down there. But what is it of Jay's concern or interest, what size Barry's junk is? Who cares? Maybe why that's Barry gets the ladies. Who knows? Who knows? And who really cares? You gotta have something that's going to attract a lady, and he doesn't have anything. And if he does have a giant anaconda down there, well, I don't think that's really that much of an asset in many ways. That just creates problems physically between a man and a woman. But they're the type, they don't care if they rip a person apart. As long as they can get their rocks off. Yeah, that's selfishness. But having a giant anaconda is not going to make you a wonderful human. But Jay seems to know about stuff like this. Oh, the height again. Here with the height again. Jay is actually a munchkin, folks. And those that have met him, or if you've seen him on camera, Jay is actually a munchkin. Why are they so concerned about my height? Am I having a problem with my height? I don't have a problem with my height. They do. But I don't have a problem. I know what my height is. I'm not 5'2". I'm not 5'4". I know what my height is. But why is that a concern or even a problem for anybody else? I'm not 6 foot tall. I'm happy with my height. And my height is actually a tit's hair from 5'7", actually. I used to be tall. I used to be 5'8". But I have a little bit of curvature of the spine. I have some, a measurable amount of spine, what do you call it? Boy, I'm out of it in the morning here. I have a little bit of a curvature of the spine. That's what does it. Then as you also get older, you could lose another inch in time. But I'm certainly not 5'2" and 5'4" and all that. No, and Barry definitely not taller than me, and Jay is definitely not taller than me either. Jay's another munchkin. When he says he goes to the gym 5 days a week, who's going to buy that? Who's going to buy that? I'm not buying that. Because I don't think he's physically able to work out 5 days a week. Not when he chain smokes. What's he going to do in the middle of doing a bench press? He's going to light a cigarette? Come on, get real. Come on now, Apple Man. Get real. You could fool some people, but you can't fool everybody. And you certainly can't fool me. Look at that, 24 strong this morning. We got a good morning here. No, I'm not on the computer. I'm not on the desktop. I'm on my phone. Region, good morning, champ. Good morning to you, sir. Sir. Oh, we're just talking about, another guy died, Gaaawd Black, and he was like a friend of Sunshine Shoulders, and supposedly he died. The gist I got of it from Philippine Antics anyway. I know of his show, but I never really concentrated. He's just a friend of, one thing you know, he's in a wheelchair. Next thing you know, he's supposedly dead. I don't know. But he's also a guy that does a lot of foolish things like they're doing too. I spoke about this morning here. He's got a little baby at his age, and he's up, I don't know, he might have been 63. And something happened. I know he had nodules on his nerve in his back or something. I don't know what more happened. Of course he was overweight. Of course he was over. They were all overweight. Shit. It's like a fucking disease itself. Everybody like the plague or something, all becoming overweight and obese and all that. Pretty much most of the main characters on here are obese. And that's why we talk about it a lot. It's not like we're making fun of them in that sense. We could. It's just a discussion. That's all it has been with me. It's just been a discussion. And something that we're finding that a lot of these people have in common. Sir Abbo, sit. Good dog. Sit, Abbo, sit. Good dog, Pennywise says. Yeah, Abbo's got his own problems. I mean, bad enough he's living home with his mother and all that stuff. I don't know what that's all about, man. A guy who's a so-called Bitcoin millionaire. Yeah, we believe that. Yeah, we believe everything you say, Abbo, man. But I'm sorry, but anybody who plays punchy with a rubber dildo in his shower, I mean, there's got to be something wrong with him, at least on that level. I'm sure you've all seen that video of him in the shower. He's punching a dildo. Wonder if he was drinking at the time, but that's his normal mentality. I don't know. Pretty sad how these people are just deteriorating. You're supposed to age with grace, but these people are not aging very well. Oh, that's what Jay says, Pennywise. Then Kevin admits that he's got a fucking pocket pussy. Why would anybody admit that? And don't tell me that he doesn't use that. Kevin hasn't seen any action since before he got the bolo knife in his head. Don't tell me that he's not utilizing that pocket pussy. He didn't throw it away or give it away or nothing. Someone asked him, did you take it to Southeast Asia with you? Yeah, no, I didn't take it. Bullshit. That's what's getting him by. Can't get a real woman, so a pocket pussy comes in handy. I forgot who sent him that. Was it actually Pinoy Troll? Because Pinoy Troll had that, and he might have sent that to Kevin. Might have been somebody else, but I know Pinoy Troll had one, and even displayed it. It was kind of gross looking. It wasn't just a little pocket pussy. It was a big fucking thing, about fucking 12 inches high, like with skin and everything, with hair on it. It's just, I didn't want to think about it. Oh my God. It'd be kind of embarrassing for Kevin to take that on a plane when I have to check your luggage. Then they look in there and they see a big old fucking pocket pussy. I can imagine the expression on the people at the inspection. a fleshlight. Maybe Penny has also sent him that. I don't know, man. It's kind of to each his own stuff, but some of this stuff is pretty bizarro world. You must admit that. It really is. Bizarro world. And they're all right here in the Philippines genre. How coinky dinky is that? How? But Jay made another fool of himself again. God, when does he stop? Now you see, there's pauses. If you listen to Jay, when he starts ranting, it'll go into a slight pause, but then it comes out with fury. See, and psychologically very imbalanced. He'll start talking like low and sounding like a normal human. Then all of a sudden he goes into a big rant, if you noticed that. Well, I did anyway. See, Jay's been attacked a lot in the past, when his dad died and everything else. And Jay's been saying some pretty tough shit about me and about my girlfriend too. What Jay got to understand is that I have a good memory for shit like this. For anybody. I have a pretty good memory for shit like that, no matter how old I am. There's things I will not forget that's embedded in my mind. Jay says I'd never do anything if he came across me. Oh yeah, if I was on that ferry like Nico was with me, he would have punched me out and threw me over the side. You wouldn't have the chance to do that, Jay. And logically, you wouldn't do that anyway. Because I don't think you want to wind up in a fucking prison. Jay's got his own past. He had his arrests over in Australia. He had his share with the law. Like I said, people can't talk. Then we have to remind them of their past and what they did. Oh, then they fall apart. They get very defensive. Really defensive. Oh, I never did that. Yeah, sure you did. Sure you did. The fact that he knows what size Barry's pecker is, that's interesting in itself. How would Jay know that? How would he know that? I'm always afraid to find out why he'd know that. I'm not even sure I want to hear it. There's some things I just don't want to visualize in my head, sorry, but there's some things you just don't want to think about or envision in your mind. Jay clearly is an only child, a loudmouth brat who literally still lives with his mom. Yeah. Resource says, can you imagine being 50 and thinking it's cool to get in physical fights with people? Jay talks like some high school kids. Look, I follow Jay. Jay's had a lot of encounters on here, and he never came forward with any of them. He never met up with anybody. The big mouth. He never met up with anybody. But here's the thing, too, about how they think, which is very interesting. In my case, he figures, well, Frank is 71. He's an old man. I'm sure I'm in a lot better shape than he is, number one. But is that something to brag about? Even if Jay could kick my ass, which I doubt, but even if Jay could kick my ass, is that something to be proud of and boast about? Same as me. If I was 50 years old and got into a confrontation with a man in his 70s and I beat the shit out of him, would it be an accomplishment of power when you're going to fight against somebody who's 20 years older than you? Your senior? That's my point. You know, that's nothing to brag about, even if you could beat the shit out of me. I mean, where's the cigar for that? Other than you got your aggression out. But against a man 20 years your senior? And that's something to boast about? No, find somebody your age and fight them. And see if you can win that fight. Then I say that's a fair fight. But I wouldn't be worried about Jay. I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Jay is out of shape. As far as him going to the gym 5 days a week, I don't buy it. He certainly don't look it. He's obese himself. They all are. Who isn't obese on here? They all are, from what I can see. George, maybe, from Philippine Antics. Maybe Amazing Philippines. He's not obese. 8 Miles from Home. He's not obese. The list goes on. But these guys, Kawinky Dinky, all got that common element. Oh, they talk tough. Oh, yeah, if I ever seen you, I'm going to kick your ass. No, you're not. You're not going to get anywhere close to me. Because you'll wind up where Barry is, number one, if you don't wind up dead, one way or the other. A rock, a stick, a very carefully placed punch or kick. Don't kid yourself. Don't pretend you know the ability of somebody else. I don't ever pretend. I mean, look at that. If I fought Barry, I know I could take him, but do you ever think that Barry could get a lucky punch in there somehow? Everything and anything is possible. I'm not one of these people that's saying that I know 100% for sure. Some people I do, because I happen to know my ability. I don't care what fucking age I am. I'm sick of talking about this age shit, because age it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It really is. It's the person's capability, it's the person's integrity, the person's actual ability to be persistent and not give up and finish what he started and get the job done. As Kristen Sabu likes to say, get the job done. Jay talks a big talk, but he doesn't walk the walk. We've been following Jay, all of us, for years. And yes, he has had incidents where he's supposed to meet up with people and he never did. Because he knew better, that it would be embarrassing for him, that he'd get his ass. And then there's Big Kevin that says, yeah, if he ever met me, he'd give me, I'm going to buy Frank a sandwich, he said. And he goes, a knuckle sandwich. No, you're not, Kevin. Once you're on the ground, you're not getting off the ground, Kevin. Unless you sit on my chest, that's a different story. But I would never give you the chance to even do that. Don't underestimate anybody, and I don't underestimate anybody. I don't. I can weigh the odds with certain people. I say, this is the odds that this could happen and that could happen, either direction, good or bad. But I know these people all talk. Kevin still carries around a lot of weight. He couldn't last for 25 seconds in an actual physical confrontation, nevertheless walk a whole block without being out of breath and being in pain. You get to know the trolls after a while. It's not like I sit there and I take written notes. I just remember these things. Okay, let's see. Regent says, oh, wait a minute. Pennywise says, Frank, I heard you used to box in the New York Golden Gloves in your youth. Any truth in that? No, there's no truth in that. Region 6 says, Jay can show his crypto wallet to prove he's a Bitcoin millionaire. It's 100% anonymous, yet he doesn't show it. Oh, but he's willing to show everything else in the so-called 5-page resolution. Well, show us your crypto, creep. Regent says, these guys are all talk, zero action. It's almost 10 years of physical threats on Frank and nothing has happened. Exactly. They know better. Pennywise says, Kevin has gained weight since he stopped using his weight loss shot. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. And then, we actually see what he actually does eat, the cheap bastard. He goes out and buys 20 containers of ramen. There you go, boy. Keep it up. Of course he'll do another show today. It's like a Barry and Frank thing and other people too. It's a back and forth thing. Kevin wants to have the last word in. Kevin, you're a done deal, man. It is what it is with your life, man. And we know you're not going to stay out there. We know you're going to come up with some excuse to save face for going back to America, but you're going back. We all know that already. You hit a dead-end road when you moved out of the country. Nothing has been happening for you other than that pocket pussy, and thank goodness you got that pocket pussy. And I'm sorry, even though you have brain damage, Kevin, I just don't really feel sorry for you. I thought about it. Can I feel sorry for this guy because he's got a bolo knife in his brain? And I'm beyond that now. There was a time I had a little bit of, think a little bit of compassion for the guy that he can't help being a fucktard. But I can't say it wasn't his fault that happened to me because I know the truth that it was not, that he basically encouraged this to happen. And something went down that was pretty radical to make that happen. And the word was that he messed with somebody's kid, is what I understand. It was the real story. Well, when I say kid, I just mean underaged. Not like a little kid, 6 years old or something. It was an underage girl. That's the story I got. And it was from a couple of people on Discord that know a little bit more than I do. And it had to do with an underage girl. And the parents found out. And they went after him. And they got a little carried away. They ran after him. Right? Pow. Behind him, right? Pow. Pew. Pow. And that's why he's a fucktard today. He'll be back to over 300 pounds before the end of the year. You estimate he gained about 30 extra pounds. Well, I did notice. I showed a comparison. Well, I sort of did. I showed a picture of him. Well, this one here. Let's see what I got. This one here now, this is when he didn't gain those extra 30 pounds. Okay. Face looks a little bit better, a little thinner. But then there's I don't have it on here, but when I see him live and I see his pictures now, and I also see his flabby tits, because when he lost all that weight, the one thing you can't lose, unless you want to do it surgically, is you can't lose. And this is him now. Okay. No. My apologies. This is him. Yeah, this is him in the process of taking that medicine, I believe. And it's Don C in the background. No. This is why. No. This is correct. This is correct. Because he was in Thailand, because that's Don C in the background there. No, he was in Thailand already. So no, he did obviously gain weight. All right, here, look at this. Look at this, and let's go back to the other one and look at the difference. And look at the difference. See the difference? And this is when he was first coming into Thailand. And he was on that medicine, he lost weight. Then, go back to the other one, which is more current. And that was meeting up at Don C in Thailand. There you go. Right there. Right there. Pennywise says he was down to 285 at one point, but he might be close to 300 again. He's probably close, yeah. He'll be back to over 300 before the end of the year. Well, I think by the end of the year he's going to be back in the United States. I don't really want to look at his face, so why don't I take this off? Seriously. Now, what's Barry looking like these days? That'll be interesting. This is an old picture of him, I think, when he was in the States. Maybe. This is an old picture of him. Now, if you remember when he's back in Mandawi, it was enormous weight. I don't know, it looked like it was the same person I was looking at. But his weight now, being in a prison and only predominantly eating the food they give, which is just soggy rice and some vegetables. And he don't even like rice. He's not the biggest vegetable eater. So I would think one or two things have happened. That he lost an incredible amount of weight again, or he actually maintained his heavy weight. Because can you picture Barry really working out in the gym? No, he'd be coughing his lungs out. So he could have actually even gained even more weight out of stagnation. Barry will be back to looking like Skeletor in detention. Well, like I said, it could work two ways. But no, you can't counterbalance that, because if they're just feeding him this kind of food and that kind of food, he's not getting enough calories for the day. So even if he is very sedentary, yeah, he still would lose weight. I would guess to say that he actually lost a lot of weight. I would guess to say that. I think I'll go with that. Yeah. I think he probably lost all that weight. You gotta look like this, man. This would never happen. But these people they're just kidding themselves, guys. And I don't think anybody really gives a shit. People come and go, and you hardly hear them talk about. Fazio, I mention him here and again. Sometimes other people do. But you'll notice that since he's gone, people don't even, he's not even really much of a topic of anything anymore. Pennywise says if he cannot order grab food, then he will be losing. I understand that you cannot from there. But you could have a relative or a friend or whatever, I guess. Yeah, you could have them bring over food from you, to you. And the only person that's really going to do that is going to be his girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, quasi-girlfriend. That's henceforth all these little trips to Manila that she's making. So, I don't think, well, I mean, it's possible. You just take care of the guard. That's all. Take care of the guard. Yeah, I'll give you so many pesos if you go get me X amount of food or this or that from Grab. And what he eats anyway is always highly caloric and unhealthy anyway, don't matter either way. So he could be getting his food from the guard. Guards love favors to make a little extra money from the prisoners. And they could do pretty well before the month's out. One prisoner gives them money for this, to get them that, do this for them. They're doing pretty good. Hey, what's up with Philly in the Philippines? I haven't checked his channel in a while. Is he still vlogging from his remote bumfuck Egypt location that he's been out of Angeles City for a while? What's he up to? Did he commit suicide yet or what? Maybe they have a commissary. What they do? No, they do have a commissary there. To buy extra snacks and ramen noodles. Yeah, they do. They do. That's actually a fact. And I think you got to do it through your Gcash. So that's actually where he is in Surigao. How come he never met up with 8 miles from home? No, I could never live there, man. They got too many storms and shit. I heard they got nice areas in there, though. Or maybe I'm mixing up with Siquijor. They all sound the same to me. What's the surfing town? That's where 8 miles from home is living. What's that surfing town? Surigao, right? Surigao. Then there's Siquijor, which has a few nice places there to see, I guess. I've seen on a video. I know somebody, actually an ex-interest of some sort, that's actually living in Siquijor. Philly was vlogging about chickens being arrested by ICE. And he lost it, didn't he? He really lost his sense of reality. Yeah, I noticed that. He was naming his chickens names and as if they were like the mafia and the gang or something. And he'd come up with this ridiculous clickbait titles like he always does. Look, guys, they all fade out. Like I always say, they all float eventually. They'll all fade out. People either losing interest in their shows or I hope because dropping dead or something, they all fade out. It's just a matter of time. But all the negativity, these vloggers, foreigner living in the Philippines. What's this? The British guy? I always get his name wrong. And he's always talking about the negatives. Then there's Jim and Rose, what's his name? What the hell's the wife's name? Excedrin or something? Drexel. Oh, and he's a real tart, this guy. He's on fucking steroids and shit and everything and testosterone and admits it. So he's supposed to be envious of his muscles when he's gained it artificially? Not me. The same as a woman with a big chest who had implants. I'm not impressed. I never liked them. Doesn't turn me on. Still, you turn me on. Still, wanna be on the cover of a magazine. Yeah, good one. That was what, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It's great bands, man. Vlogging about chickens. Boys, it come down to that. Jeez. Even my most mundane video excels over what they put on their shows. Amazing. Don C is really going out of his way these days, I'll tell you. How could Don C be happy with his life? when all he does is find reason and rhyme to put something together, whether it's on his own show or what he talks about on Kevin's show or comes on live with Kevin or something. Does Don C., who's supposedly a busy businessman, have that much time on his hands to do what he does? Now, whoever writes that stuff and they put it into AI for the copycat channel, first of all, they're upset because I haven't been taking my shows down. So they got to really look into what I put on here with a fine-tooth comb to try to turn it around or find fault. But they're not happy with the fact that I've been leaving my shows on. They're not happy at all, actually. It's kind of hit them kind of hard. But whoever wrote this one thing, it was, I don't know how many fucking paragraphs, it was like a fucking book. All you need to know basically about me, which everything was absolutely wrong and a lie, but nevertheless, whoever wrote it up, it was very well done. The language, the writing. And I'm thinking that Brevis has something to do with that. Although Brevis is a creepy crawler and a stalker, if he managed to go to Berkeley, which is not the best school in the world, but it's not a bad school, you got to have some brains. But then he wasted it by working on it in a dispensary, and that's where he got in trouble. What a waste of Berkeley College. Well, it's a good thing he didn't go to UCLA, which I think excels over Berkeley, to my understanding. But, to go, because his parents were rich, and to go to Berkeley, it's not a bad gig. It's not a bad gig at all. Some would argue and say, nah, it's nothing special, but Berkeley is something. To waste any potential talents that he had, to become a YouTube troll or to live the kind of life he did in order to get in trouble in California, enough to have him have to flee. And 2 restraining orders he put out on people because, and to protect his family too, because he did something so radically wrong to piss some people off, and it was probably gang members in the hood over drugs and shit. Don't forget, he worked for a dispensary. There was a lot of shit going on. He don't own a house. He's not waiting 6 years, like he said, to get it paid off, and then he's going to live like a king the rest of his life in the Philippines. That didn't apply. People believe he got something from his grandmother when she died, perhaps, and whatever. He's living off that for a while. But what happens when that money runs out, Yeah. Princess Anne, good morning. What's going on in your life, Princess Anne? I don't really follow your show. We've had a little friction in the past, if you remember. I don't even know if this really is Princess Anne, but I'll just assume that it is. You all settled in with a boyfriend, you got a good life going for you. What's going on in your life? Luciano says, Berkeley is an old hippie university. Well, they used to be. I don't know anything about it these days. Never even seen Berkeley. I've been out in California, in that area, but I've never seen Berkeley. And I just stayed in the general San Francisco area, the bedroom communities such as Concord and some of the communities around Concord. I've been to the Wharf, it's in San Francisco. I've been to, what do you call beach? Not Gilligan Beach. It's a nude beach, actually. It's actually a clothing optional beach. I didn't see anybody naked down there. I was with my girlfriend, Suzanne, at the time. The doctor's daughter. I know the name of the damn beach, but it's a pretty good size beach. It's very popular. You have to go all the way down from a higher level to get down to the winding roads to get down there. Stimson. Yeah, I've been down to Stimson Beach. I've been to Carmel. And the adjoining areas of Carmel. Yeah, I've been to LA and Hollywood area. So I've been in California, a few places. Not like I never got around at all. I did. But California is not a place I ever want to live. I know that for sure. It's too volatile, being on a fault line and all that shit. It's going to just separate and just break off from the continent. It's just a matter of time. And if you want to take that chance, you go ahead. Play the odds if you're a gambler, but no, not me. It's not that I'm living in the safest place in the world, either the Philippines. We've got how many volcanoes out here? A place that's known for volcanoes, known for earthquakes, for horrible storms and so forth. I don't know how much safer it is out here, to be honest with you, but I'd bet more chances of surviving living out here in the Philippines than in California. Don't forget, it was at Oak Ridge. Don't forget that earthquake they had. Yeah. That was a pretty big thing. People were pancaked in their cars. Some people had to be removed by chainsaw or whatever. Had their legs cut off just to get them in there. They were so stuck. When the overpass highway pancaked onto the lower level. You remember that? That was big time. People were in awe to see that. I don't blame them, really. Make some coffee. I had 2 of those cookies, I hate to say. They're back in here now. They were good, actually. That was from, that's the only thing good I like in that place, actually, there. Well, the cakes are good, but the cookies were actually pretty good. They weren't bad. I had a banana muffin yesterday. That kind of gave me a heartburn. How did they put in there certain spices? And the boy's got to watch what he eats. Even me, I got to watch what I eat. Oh, what you doing, ginger girl? You like going in Daddy's room? Is it cooler in here? Yeah. You like coming in Daddy's room, sweetheart? Yeah. Wanna be a star. The cover of a magazine. Yeah, I always wanted to be in the cover of a magazine. Yeah, kind of a banana muffin, man. I don't know. I find certain things, like I love carrots, but if you have it in a muffin, it's the spices that they put in there that would give me heartburn. It's the spices. I mean, I had some, homemade meatballs the other day that she made, and, I got a little agita from that. Because, there's onion in there and whatever else she puts in there. Too much of a certain spice will do me in. So I gotta watch it. Hope I don't get cut off over here. I'm in my dead zone. Yeah, we did get the washer fixed. We did get it fixed. And the timing box on there was a lot different looking. It was a more modern. And we got everything working on there. See, rather than buying a whole new washer. God, I just had my... Where did I do it, Let's see. I'm looking for something and I can't find it here. On the cover of the magazine. Did you ever want to become relevant, folks? Well, Gemini says that I am relevant after all. Imagine that. Oh, she's making something very healthy in the blender right now. Mm-hmm. She certainly is. It's not ramen. How much does it cost to fix? We gave him 300 pesos, but we had to spend... How much was the unit itself that we bought?
380.
It was 380 for the replacement for the timer box. Yeah. And 300 for him. So about 680, which is fine. Rather than spending another 20,000 on buying another machine. I think I got away cheap with that. I mean, machine don't look pretty. The plastic is kind of blackened a little bit from obvious moisture and how plastic gets stained. You know how it gets stained when it's dirty with mold or something on there, but it's, goes along with the, Goes along with the environment and everything. Yeah, not much. You see, it's having these people that you could depend on. And you can't always depend on everybody. No, I never said. Because I've had a lot of situations. They're too busy, or whatever they're doing was worth more money than the project I had for them. And I understand that. Money is money. But when you rather spend 680 pesos instead of spending 20,000 on a new washer, that's what we did. Still haven't remedied my leak problem with the gutter thing in the front. I got to get around to that. I still don't know where the outlet is. As I said, I showed you those downspouts in the front. It does not lead to any outlet at all for the water. Now, I personally had kind of jerry-rigged a piece of metal around below the gutter, you know. Had a gaping hole, and all you had to do is touch it with your finger, because that's where the water was always hitting. Hit it with your finger, you make a hole in there. So I took some goop. It's actually a compound that I kind of flopped on there and smoothed it out as best as I could. Then covered it with an enamel paint. So it's something that'll last for a while, but I still got to prevent the water from hitting that area. I don't know when we're getting around to doing that. By the way, am I coming in okay? Am I broken up? Because I'm actually in a dead zone. Sometimes you have to do something temporary before you do something permanent, but so it doesn't get any worse. A house is just like people, man. And if you don't maintain it, it falls apart. Right, Kev? Kev is now Mr. Ramen. Mr. Ramen. The Roman Ramen. You know, here's the way I see things. I don't know how you see things, but this is the way I see things. You want to know the truth? No matter what insults these trolls could put at me, I look at them and I see their lifestyle and I say, well, I laugh really. I snicker. If I'm not out loud, I'm not like, I laugh. I snicker because I look at them and what I see is a total disaster waiting to happen. And I know it'll happen, just like what happened with Fazio and other people. It's just a matter of time that they're not going to be around anymore to toss any more insults. They won't. Like I said, 2025 is not over yet. Okay, we're not there yet. We're not even close. But, incident. Hopefully it's not me. But I would bet that it'll be one of these people that I talk about. See, that's what I got on them. That's what I got on them. And some people say, oh, it never happened, but it happened. A lot of people had Lipid, Fazio, go down the list. These were people that were overconfident in their physical situation and their whole physiology. They were overconfident. I went to oh yeah, my blood pressure was good. Yeah, maybe that day. Okay. You know how you know when you're really out of shape? Everybody who, even for when they get out of bed, you could have a low rate of 55, 65 for relaxing rate. Let me tell you how it works. Any activity at all, even the most minute, is going to raise your heart rate. You'll notice this getting out of bed, you could wear one of these little oximeters. I'll take your blood pressure, you'll see that your heart rate is pretty good. But the littlest activity you do can raise it to 100 at least, or maybe more. Maybe 105 just for walking around the house. Now, you take somebody like Kevin, a very stationary person, can barely walk a half a block down the block to 7-Eleven or whatever, and take his rate. I'll guarantee you he's up about 150 just from that walk. And why do I say that? You're not a doctor, Frank. No, I'm not a doctor.
I understand a little bit about physiology. I understand a little bit about the heart. And because he's still carrying around a lot of weight, he's really putting pressure on his blood and his vessels, and his heart rate is going to be a lot more than the average just walking down to this local 7-Eleven to buy his fantastic food, ramen. He probably reaches at least 140. That's not good for a short walk. Now, he has that watch he wears. I wonder why he's wearing that. Because he has a concern. Now, athletes will wear that just to keep track of this and that. But why did he buy a watch to monitor that? Because he was concerned. I only wear the watch because I measure how many steps I take. And also, I pretty routinely check my heart rate after different activities. Sex, walking around, coming off the treadmill, and my rate is always good. That's another thing. If Kevin ever managed to have sex with a real woman, he probably couldn't do it. I think he would be taking a chance. Because number one, he's still got that weight on him. And Kevin would never take off his shirt. You know what you're going to see? Remember, he almost weighed 500 pounds. And he lost a couple hundred pounds, did he not? Right? All loose skin. Horrible loose skin. He goes to have sex with a woman, has to take off his clothes. She's going to say, wait a minute. I forgot. I have an errand to run. I got to go see my auntie. Once they see all that flab to stay and all the sweat in between all the flab, oh my God. Look, we could pretty much venture to say that Kevin has not had sex since he left the country. I could almost put a guarantee on it. Because if he even had a woman that was really remotely interested, she'd be on camera with him all the time. If he had a real girlfriend, he gave a bullshit story. Oh, I've been seeing this woman for 9 months. How's that possible? Because he first came into Thailand and he went to Vietnam. Suppose he had a girlfriend from Thailand and he went to Vietnam. What happened to her? Then he goes back in Thailand. Where did she disappear to? He never had a girlfriend. He had somebody to pose in a picture with him. That's all he ever had. That was it. Kevin, you're just fooling yourself. You're not fooling us. You're certainly not fooling me. Yeah. See, I don't have to worry about that shit no more. I'm in 9.5 months with mine. I'm in like Flynn. I don't have to worry about chasing ass. I mean, geez, those days are over a long time ago. And I don't need more than one partner either. That's sick. I'm very happy with that. I feel relaxed. I feel, I feel at home here. More so than most places I've lived, actually. Sure, Philippines got its problems. So does any other place. But, yeah, I definitely see myself staying here. And even if I got booted out, I'd be back already. I'm not going any, first of all, I don't think I'm going anywhere. But if that did happen, what could it be? For a year? If she won her way and we couldn't fight it? Hey, I was away from her for 14 months already when I was in Hawaii when COVID happened. We just kept in touch. Every single day, numerous times. It was business as usual. I didn't have the physical contact with her, but Jesus Christ. Did I really need that? Love doesn't mean that you got to be physically with somebody and having sex with them every day. You can't do that from a long distance. The only thing that keeps you together is that you got feelings and you got love. You can't be physically with them if you're in another country, right? I handled that with the COVID thing, and I handled it pretty well. Sure, I missed being with her and all that stuff, but it's not like we weren't talking to each other every single day, maybe 5, 6 times a day, maybe more sometimes. We always kept in touch. That's what kept me going. If something like that ever happened to me, it'd be the same thing. I could deal with it. I've dealt with it before. As you can see, I'm not overly concerned about that situation. I mean, I'll handle it. But if something did happen, if something did happen, I'm not going to be that overly concerned. I'll get to experience another culture. And you never know, Kevin. I might be your neighbor. How would you like that? I get an apartment right next to you and see how tough you are. You'd be pissing your pants. Because you know I could be fucking crazy when I want to. I don't think you want to deal with me, Kevin. I really don't. Under any circumstance. You try to give me a knuckle sandwich. See how far that'll get you, son. Son, he's 63. Call him Grandpa. Just go visit your kids, Kevin. Do what's right. Do what's right. You love your kids so much, but you don't want to visit them. He doesn't want to talk about that. You notice that? That's a subject that he will avoid on his show. He don't want to talk about his kids. You bring it up to him, he will not talk about it. Nope. Oh, good morning. You kind of feel you're back from your walk. Right on, brother. I was going to do that this morning. Oh, shit, did I decide to do a show? Now the sun is actually coming up. So I guess I'm stuck. I'm just going to turn the air conditioner on and let that cool air infiltrate into my little gym. Or just call it exercise room. Get on the treadmill. I got to put in at least 2 miles. I'm happy with that. Then you got to add all the walking around you do on top of that. It all adds up. It all adds up. It's better than sitting around being a couch potato. I can't deal with that. It's hard for me because I've got generally a lot of energy. It's hard for me to stay in one place, really it is. I got to keep moving. If I was in a confined situation, prison or something, I'd be a bobcat. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. I'd be walking around, burning up some energy. I would work out. I would make the best of a bad situation. Because that's what you have to do. Otherwise, just sit there and die. And that's not me. That's not me. I don't give up on things very easily. If you haven't noticed, took a notice of that. No, I certainly don't. I think you know me for that. But Jay, let's get back to Jay. You know, Jay, I know you probably listen. You got a big mouth, dude, but that's all you have is a big mouth. You're in no shape physically to get into confrontation with anyone. Even somebody that has 20 years on you. Go to the gym 5 days a week, my ass. Right, you just look like a picture of health, Jay. No, you look like Abbo. Frank, you are relentless once you focus on a person. Yeah, that's the truth. I am relentless. That's just part of my makeup of who I am. I concentrate on something, I need to finish it. And I'm far from being done yet. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. And don't have to be a fat lady. I'm over when I say it's over. And when I'm satisfied with the results. Jay's about 50. Around 50. And he chain smokes. Bad enough I do smoke, but I don't chain smoke. People say that, but how do they know? They know everything. They're in my house watching everything I do. They know whether I have a good relationship, whether I have sex or can't have sex. They know what's in my bank account. They know whether I'm happy or not. I think I'm the only one that would know that. Wouldn't you think, or my partner? You know, they know so much about me, but they know so very little. They know what I tell them. But how could you make a judgment on somebody's happiness when you don't live with them? How could you say whether somebody's broke or not, unless you've seen their bank account, and that's something you'll never be able to do, right? How could you make those lame statements? You know why? Because they can. They can make any statements they want. Don't mean it's true. They're just venting. They know I've got the best. The trolls know I got the best of them all these years. How the fuck did I last 10 years or so on YouTube if I wasn't get the best of the trolls? How did I deal with such adversity for 10 years and I'm still here? I didn't run away with my tail between my legs, nothing like that. I'm still here. I'm still kicking out my shows, numerous shows daily, in fact. If I had something to hide, I wouldn't be here. And then they talk about, well, with a pending deportation complaint. Wow, Frank's still on YouTube. Doesn't sound like Frank's really worried. And I'm not. I handle things when they come up. You know, we got some ammunition in the pocket on this. I don't have to go into that, and I won't. I live every day like there's no complaint at all. It's just another day. Just nobody do. I'm going to stress out over that. They'd like me to, but that's not happening. Hasn't happened yet. I'll deal with things when they come up. That's the way you should do it. And when I said there was a Mexican standoff, they don't understand what I mean about that. And I'm not going to tell you what I mean. But there certainly is. That's why there's no resolution. And I'm not going to go into detail what I'm talking about. This could drag on for another couple of years. Yeah, yeah. And I had no plans of leaving the country anyway, so I'm not worried about it. There's a country I'd like to visit, actually. It's in Asia. It's not what people think. But I'd love to go there and check out the culture there. No hints as to where. In fact, I know a lot about it. Oh, certainly even prior to all this complaint. That was a place that me and mine were thinking about visiting. And there's nothing within the Philippines. It's a different country. But I have a good idea where I'd like to be, to visit, certainly. If I had to live there, I would do that too. I know enough about it. Cost of living, everything. If you know anything about me, I'm a pretty good planner. Okay? As I could tell you, I'm a pretty good planner. You guys hold on a couple of minutes.
All right, sorry about that.
Nature does call sometimes, and you got to answer. Okay, where were we here? Okay. I was kind of finding more and more projects. Anyway, yeah, the washer's working, and still haven't tackled yet. It's like one thing at a time. Haven't tackled the downspouts in front of the house yet. Well, the one on either side of my deck and where the door is. I'm afraid it's going to turn into a bigger project than I would think, and I don't want to cut into the nice tiles on my front porch or deck. Not really. But I got to prevent, in a heavy rain, the overflow of the gutter on either side, because that's what's rotting some of the metal underneath the gutter. It's sort of kind of a metal fascia board, as you would have on stick-built houses. And it was really rusted, and I patched it up. But the problem continues. In that area, I'm just going to continue having this rusting going on. So I got to take care of it sooner or later. But really, it is a mystery. It is a mystery. I don't think that this is going under the concrete and is teeing off to another spout that's like 25 feet away. I don't think it wouldn't make any sense. And that's why we got to investigate it. As I said, we don't see no outlet. There's no holes. There's no exit points from these two particular downspouts that's visible anywhere. Why would they run it underneath concrete of my deck and not have an outlet for it? And like I said, they did build a new wall. We had a new wall built, 4 foot tall or 5. And it was just a tiny little shit wall on there. It mostly had chicken wire fence on it. It wasn't much of a wall. So the question is, when they built this wall, did they not notice there was some kind of a downspout drainage point coming out of there? Because there's a lot of leftover concrete on the outside of the wall that could be covering exactly what I would hope to see, an exit point for the water coming out of the downspouts. Unless it's been covered with cement, they have excess cement and they just put it on the base of the wall. I don't see it. That's the point I'm making. There's nothing stupid about my thoughts. I mean, it's either there or it's not. And if it's not, water goes into the downspouts. It's going to come up. And a heavy rain, it's going to flood the gutter. It's going to flood the gutter. The gutter's going to overflow in those areas, and it's going to rust out whatever areas underneath there that the water is constantly being introduced to. We don't see any outlet for this. The mystery. As far as people making fun of, your house ain't built actually, it's built very solid. It's a good house. And the guy from, it was either Norway, I think it was from Norway or Switzerland. I think it was Norway. No, he did a pretty good job. Except a lot of Norwegian houses, they will have some windows that don't open up. And I said, a dining room and living room, these are fixed windows. They don't open up for air. That's why you need to open up your sliding door. You need to open up the other door. You need to run a fan in there, circulate the air. It doesn't open up. And I'm not going to replace them either because it looks attractive and we could live with that. We thought of putting maybe 2 side windows on it that roll up. We still could, and that's still an idea. It's just, one project at a time, I don't get too involved with projects overlapping each other and all that. I like to see any improvements on the house. I love improvements. But I got some better needs than really to start a project like that. new windows on there. I'm not happy with my living room furniture. I'd like to get some more quality furniture for the living room. Something with high backs on you could really sit on properly. Wide enough so I could kind of cuddle with my honey. And she could fit on my side and we could kind of cuddle. You can't really do that on this couch. Instead, she comes on the recliner chair with me, sits on the side of me, which works out pretty well, but it's not that comfortable. We make things happen. We go what we got. But yeah, there's a lot of things I like to do, but it all comes in time. Too many projects get stressful. Anyway, you could read this thing that was he mentioned from Discord on my profile picture here. Let me leave off by saying a couple of things here. Kevin, do what you think is right for you. I don't control your life, and I'm not trying to, and I want nothing to do with you, really. But don't be too cocky. You never know if I wind up in Vietnam. And you're just never going to know. I could be on the rag. On a male version of the rag. You don't want me as a neighbor, Kevin. Believe me, you don't. I said that to Barry, too. Barry's saying he'd like to have me in jail with him. But once the jailmates knows about Barry and I get the information out and with proof, Barry's going to be the one that have to be worried. The horrible things he said about Filipinos and Muslims and everything else. They know his history, how he's ripped off all the Filipinos and the harm he's done to women. He wouldn't last very long after that point. So you got to watch what you say. Because for every action there's, that saying, there's an equal or continued or a more, a little bit more progressive action you could take against the other person. So, and I got 2% remaining, so that's good. Good timing on here. Counterflow says, Kevin, please choose decent friends. Those guys are no way, they're not friends. If Kevin can't see that, but he wants to believe that it is because he's lonely. I'm just going to say, don't tell me I didn't tell you so about certain things I warned you about, Kevin. And it goes to a few other people too. Don't say I didn't warn you. Because in the future, you're going to be saying, boy, Frank's been right the whole time about a lot of people. Haven't I? I think I have. Well, if I got that track record, then maybe it might happen. Certain things might happen. I know Kevin wishes I'm dead or something. I don't wish Kevin dead. That's where we differ. And neither anybody else that I don't like on it. I don't wish them dead. They sure wish me dead, though. It says a lot about their character. And when you have an attitude like that, that's why you're never going to keep a woman or even get a woman. Women can see that kind of shit through their partners. They can see that. I don't know why they take Filipinos to be so dumb or something. They're not dumb. A lot of them are smarter than their boyfriends. You can see the evil in a person. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. And I'm going to have to eat a breakfast, come to think about it. And since I'm down on, I'm going to charge my phone. Oh, I'm sure Kevin will probably schedule a show. But Kevin, you know what? This back and forth shit is really not getting you anywhere. You're just embarrassing yourself. Everybody knows your situation over there in Thailand. There's not one person that doesn't, there's not one person that's disagreeing with me. Your lifestyle and where it's going to end up is pretty obvious to most of us that know who you are, that follow you in some form or way. Doing a show to try to outdo me is trying to, it's like a Barry situation. Look how it worked out for him. It didn't work out very well. Regent says every quest on Kevin's shows has trashed him at one point. Every guest on Kevin. Yeah, the same people that were trashing him come on there. He doesn't even realize it. They're not laughing with him. They're laughing at him. He made a big mistake. He really did. I can't say this enough. He made a big mistake moving out there. He made a big mistake, and he'll understand what I mean in time. Well, he's understanding it right now. I think he's certainly feeling it. He doesn't know what to do with himself. Hey, I'm happy with my status quo and all that. I have no problems with what I do in my life every day. I have none at all. And unlike Kevin, I could walk long distances. I'm, like 8 years older than him. I could walk long distances and not even breathe hardly any heavy. He couldn't do that. It's not just because of his leg. His body just can't handle that. And Kevin has the biggest trolls on his shows, and they think he's so popular. Well, I'll tell you what, I did a show yesterday. Fantastic. I got 33 watching. I got a lot more viewers on my channel than he did. He tried to overdo that by making a second show, but it didn't work. He only had about 24 at best that showed up again, but then some got tired because they just went through a long show with him before that. And he's just being very redundant, and I think people are getting tired of it. I know they are. I've seen comments all around YouTube, and I know that people are getting tired of this kind of shit. I know I am, but I go with the flow. Speaking of, I got to get a breakfast here, and see what there is to eat this morning. And what else? Oh, I might have to do a little digging myself, see if I could find the PVC in the garden area, because I'm not going to wait till somebody else does it. Sometimes you got to put your foot down, even with family, because let me tell you some other things about the culture here, but being a kind of a surrogate parent, these kids are really good, but little things like, jasmine rice is pretty expensive. We bought jasmine rice. So it was like 6 o'clock or so. I said, everybody eat? Oh, yeah, I was waiting for Christian to come. I said, well, you made this whole pot of steamed rice. It's just sitting there. How long has it been out? Even that you just can't keep out for a long period of time. So I got down in their asses and I told them that you're being wasteful. Only make enough rice you're going to eat. Don't make an abundance of rice, because I'm the one that's paying for this shit, not you. Sometimes you got to tell them right up. Or help out your mom more. You could have done the dish. Don't just throw it in the sink. Do the dishes now and then. And they do, but not regularly. They just, mom goes out of her way to cook our meals, and I help out. I've been doing a lot of dishes lately just to help out. See, Regent says, Kevin is such a fool. He could have stayed at his aunt's, saved and traveled Asia for a few months a year. Yeah, that would be the best thing for Kevin. Has been suggested. I've heard people talk about that. Why not just go away for a couple of months a year, get it out of your system, find another country to visit or something. But he obviously blew it in Thailand. He blew it in Vietnam. I mean, take a hint, Kevin, take a hint. It's time to just, your little reclining years, it's time to just kick back and try to keep yourself in good shape. And you're not doing a good job of it, man. Yeah, sure, you lost all that weight with the help of a medicine, but you're not on that anymore. Because he'll be damned if he's going to pay $1,200 to $1,500 for that medicine. That's what it costs. They got to inject you too. That's why he lost weight, It was not the reason he wanted to lose weight. He just had to do it. Big E promised to pay anywhere he wants to go if he lost a certain amount of pounds. That's how it started, but then he started taking that medicine to do that, which I still don't think it was a great idea. Do it naturally. Close your fucking mouth. Stop stuffing all that unhealthy food in your mouth, and you don't need any injections. You don't need any medicine. Gee, makes sense to you all? Makes sense to me. Anyway, catch you guys another time. I think I got a little bit of a project this morning I'm going to look into. Actually, I want to throw away a bunch of shit. There's a few things in the back that, I got to pull some weeds. That's for sure. That's growing because of all this rain. God, you got to see all the passion fruit we got growing. We give some of it away. People love it. Get the juice from that sucker, man. You have to mix it with water because it's really strong. You don't need to add no goddamn sugar or nothing on this. It's so sweet. I used to grow that in Hawaii. The problem was that the vines, they grew out everywhere. They were choking out my orange trees and shit like that. And even here in the back, it's extending out to the little bit of forestry in a neighboring yard. And these little vines, they grab onto anything and they hold on. So it's amazing what they do. It's just amazing that they have a brain of some sort. How did he know to do this? It's always amazing how that works. How does it work? Maybe plants have some sort of intelligence. I think that they do. Probably more intelligent than Kevin. Travel is in general or improve his day quality of life. Now he's sitting in a bedroom in Thailand. Yeah, exactly. What is he doing with his life? Nothing. I'm just killing it here. Well, I'm still waiting for you to kill it, Kevin. I just haven't seen it yet. Nor does anybody else. He steps outside and watches some event going on. That's killing it. It took him all he had just to make it to the 7-Eleven store. And when he had to walk in the other direction, well, actually where it was, actually, the ocean is not far from there. It's a couple of blocks or something away. When do you see him going to the ocean? Because he can't walk that far. He's in Thailand. They got beautiful beaches. Geez, Kevin. They got beautiful beaches. There's some beautiful things in Thailand. And not in the culture, too. They got interesting churches, interesting landscape. There's mountains there. There's so much to see. But although Kevin is kind of preaching that you got one life to live, you should be getting out, doing things. Yeah, well, that's what I've been saying to you, Kevin, and everybody else has been saying to you. You made it to Thailand. Congratulations. But Jesus Christ, man. You're in a beautiful place. Thailand has some beautiful places there that rival a lot of things in the Philippines. Why are you not out there? See, well, I went Chiang Mai. I did stop oh man, come on. If anybody says the beach is across the street from the 7-Eleven, oh, okay, that's where it was. I thought so. That's your walk, Kevin? Seriously? Oh, he'll definitely do a show this morning. Don't bother, Kevin. You're not getting my goat. I'm just laughing at you and seeing how pathetic you really are. You're just making a fool of yourself. Just admit that you made a mistake moving out of the country. Okay, now you have to live with it. Or not, and that's your choice. I guarantee all my viewers he'll make an excuse. He'll make an excuse to say that he's going to go back to his aunt's place. It's actually defeat is what it is. But he don't want you to know that he will try to save face. Say, I'm just vacationing out here. I didn't say I was going to stay here. No, that was the idea of leaving the country. He said that he was never coming back to America. He said that. But he will return. Dropping like flies, there's Gogo Bobo. What's the word on Discord before I get off here? What's the word, bird? What's said, Fred? What's happening, Snapping? Here they are. That new guy, that black guy, who's a friend of, Sunshine Shoulders, yeah. That's what I understand. Dropping like flies, man. What famous trolls in our genre are going to be left after a few years? Imagine if I'm the last man standing. Would you be surprised on that? I wouldn't. Velo is here. Big Ego is trying to buy humans is disgustingly. What happens when he doesn't have the income? Then it's just not going to have an interest in him. Gogo Boba's sister said the truth. They call you King Frank. Ooh, you mean like this? Oh, where's the highlights? What happened? Why can't I do that no more? Wait. At least 1 minute of videos need to start a no, I wasn't highlighting. What happened to that one icon on here? I didn't do anything. There's one icon I can get. Okay, well, don't matter. King Frank. King Frank. I like the ring of that. Hey, I've been on here long enough to deserve the title. I've survived lions and tigers and rhinos and all kinds of shit. Excited apes and everything. I mean, I've done it. I've really faced all on here. Demons and fucktards. Still here. But I gotta go. I can't drag this on. 2 hours. Are you fucking kidding me? I've been on there 2 hours. Come on, that's too much. Boy, time goes by when you're having fun, huh? Well, lately, this channel's been pretty perked up. I think more people are coming here now. On an average now it's down to 16. It was more. But it usually doesn't go much over 13. I notice I have new subscribers. They're helping me out a lot. The Copycat channel is really helping me. I mean, look at my profile picture on there, what it says. Yeah. They're helping me build up my channel. Inadvertently or otherwise, but I mean, they're helping me a lot. Who knows? Maybe someday we will go monetize. Yeah, I got over 7,000 subs, man. I'm not paying for that shit. Why the fuck would I do that? I don't really have a big goal for monetization. I may decide to do that someday again. I'm not going to buy my subs. Somebody don't want me to leave, is what it is. Yeah, I got more than Kevin has, I believe. Duh. Of course you can't get any woman, Kevin. Yeah, my name is Kevin. What's your name? Oh, hi, Kevin. How are you? Where you come from, Kevin? I come from the United States. Oh, that's good. That's good. So you're living out here now, Kevin? Yeah, I'm got an apartment right here. You want to check it out? Come upstairs with me? I don't think so, Kevin, but it's nice meeting you. And she walks away, snickering to her friend. Like, what the fuck was that? Kevin could call me every fucking name in the book. He could talk about my girlfriend, but I'm telling you, man, it don't matter what he says because look at him. His life is all messed up. He's all messed up. He's in a real bad position. I should be feeling sorry for him, and I don't care what he says about me. But when he gets really desperate, he starts bringing my girlfriend in like a lot of trolls do. Kevin's like an overgrown, prepubescent, he's got nothing to fucking live for. I can't think of any reason that man has to live for anything. Has anything to look forward to in his life. Nothing. I'm sure he'll do a show later on. You could do the back and forth thing, Kevin, if you want, but the more you do so, the more you're proving what a fucking loser you are. Go to the beach today. Don't make it past the 7-Eleven. Go to the beach today. Walk on the beach. Come on, walk on the sand, Kevin. Show us you on the beach, that you're enjoying the beautiful Thailand. You're not seeing much of Thailand at all. You're living out in Thailand, man. Take a trip to Phuket or something, But just go to the local beach, get a chair, sit down with a beer or something, or a beverage. Go find a shady spot, perhaps, with a table near the beach. Go walk to the beach. That's what people come to these countries for. They love the beaches. Not, the only thing I look forward to today is buying some fucking ramen noodles from 7-Eleven. I mean, come on, man. Is it that bad? They can't get to you, Frank, so they mess with Gilda. Yeah, that's why they're so low-lifes. Oh, they figure if you talk about Gilda, I'm going to get mad. Look, Do you know how many times I've heard vloggers talk about, or trolls talk about Gilda? They figure they're going to really, only way to piss me off. I'm beyond that stage. We expect to hear shit like this. It don't even bother Gilda. If it don't bother her, it don't bother me. The way we see it. I'll deal with these people someday when I have to, maybe one to one. You never know. They just never know. Don't be too sure that I won't or can't or would. You just don't know. I just have a good memory for shit like that. Keep that in mind. That's all I can tell you. Yeah, he can take a short ferry to an island like Kolan. He don't want to spend the money. He wants you and everybody else to pay for it, or Big E or somebody to pay for it. You can't get buried with your money, Kevin. I don't know what your beliefs are after death, but you can't take your money with you, man, or your top ramen. Oy vey. I'm out. Violating RA 7610. Violating RA 7610. This is having to do with Big Ego, and there's some shit happening behind the scenes over in Discord. Just received an important communique from a particular person, and this has been the big hoop-de-doo and discussion on the other format. And here's what's going on. I'm going to have to read you this. And please make note, I have absolutely nothing to do with this at all. I'll show you the email, but hide the person who sent it to me. So far that. Here's what's going on. I told you there's a lot of karma and shit that goes on and you don't believe in it, but when you do wrong, you do wrong. And there's people are not going to agree with you and stuff. That's just the way it is on YouTube. But here's the skinny on here. And I'm going to read you this. It says that the trolls that are supporting you, Frank, are getting really upset with the Fat E because of his recent videos of his harem doing videoke, keeping them from school, roaming country to country, keeping them from attending school. One troll, a parent, posted Fat E is violating RA 7610. He reported this to the NBI and to the PNP and to Big E's company. Some feel that Fat E is running from something or a legal issue in the Philippines, and that is why he seems to be on the run. Pathetic how he insults you for things, but he is doing far worse. In the Philippines, denying a child access to education can be considered a form of child abuse under Republican Act 7610, also the Special Protection of Children Against Child Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act. This law specifically states that no child shall be deprived of formal or non-formal education. And elaboration. RA 7610 defines child abuse broadly. The law covers physical, mental, social, and emotional neglect, including situations where a parent or guardian fails to provide adequate basic education, endangering the child's well-being. Education as a right, RA 7610, along with other child-related laws, and the Department of Education's Child Protective Policies, emphasizes the importance of education for children's development and well-being. Employer responsibilities. If a working child is allowed to be employed, for example, the employer is legally obligated to provide access to basic education. Consequences of denial. Failure to provide education when it is not due to poverty can lead to legal repercussions for the responsible parties under RA 7610. RA 7610 also addresses other forms of child abuse. It covers exploitation, discrimination, and other forms of maltreatment, highlighting the comprehensive nature of child protection in the Philippines law. And here they give me a link to RA 7610 under lawphil.net, statutes, and so forth, and so on. Okay. If they live in another country, then Philippines law does not apply. We got to think about that too. But maybe that's why he's not living in the Philippines. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all I know is that there's a big hoopla going on your back prints. Big hoopla going on the other format, the other platform, and there are people that are making reports on him and so forth. I don't know how they plan to do it. I have nothing, and I mean nothing to do with this. I'm out of that shit. I know better. I'm out of that shit. But apparently, there's a lot of people out there that don't like this guy, and I can understand why. And yeah, I've always thought it was disgusting of what he puts on camera. And you're right, folks. As people wrote me that, you know, he likes to talk about me a lot, but comparatively, I mean, look what he does. Look what he does. And I don't want to get into detail about that again, but you know what he does, and how disgusting he carries his life on with. And, well, you know the rest of it. I don't have to elaborate the things he's done, Mr. Righteous, Mr. High Road. But yeah, there's a lot of shit going on, apparently. And I get somebody who writes me, and I know, yeah, I know that they know what's going on. Yeah. A big ego is a coward. He uses other people to talk as we see it. Randy says karaoke has zero education value. Talk, talk, talk. The country that they live in and its laws are the laws that apply to them. Well, they're trying to say that he moved out of the Philippines for a reason, is what they're saying on here. That he moved out of the Philippines for a reason. And that's why he ran over to Vietnam right away at the time. Remember, he was having trouble with his relationship and there was something going on. It was on his Facebook. You remember that? Well, that's true. There was something going on, but we don't know the whole story. So there's a whole lot behind a big ego than people understand and see. Sure, he can put himself in a position of knocking me and everybody else, but we know that his life is not the greatest going on. Put the money shit to the side. It don't mean shit, really. But, there's a lot of things he's doing in his life that's really wrong. But, like I said, it's his doing. If he gets in trouble, in fact, they're supposedly even contacting his employer, according to this. Nope, nope. Been down that road. No, we're not going there. And as I said, I have nothing to do with this at all. Big ego making fish lips, kissing faces in a hot tub. Pennywise was that back when ego had an afro? An afro. Frank, do you happen to have a copy of the video that he had sent Chi where he was making kissing fish lips while in a hot tub? No, I don't. I really don't. I'm surprised I'm doing another show. I mean, I did eat, but I had just got, and I like to share this sometimes, when I get communication with somebody. I really do. Um, if it's worth, talking about. So what we're trying to say here, a lot of people think their shit don't stink, but they don't realize that there are people behind the scenes that are doing things that you're not aware of. It happened with me. It always happens with a lot of people. There's always something going on behind the scenes, but sometimes it comes out, and bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Nobody in here is living a perfect life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Big ego making fish lips. Yeah. Yeah. Look, I don't like the guy. I'll admit that fully. I don't like anything about the guy. In fact, I despise him. I don't like his voice. I don't like his demeanor. I don't like how he treats the institution of marriage and love in a relationship supposed to be devoted to one person, unless you're part of the Mormon church. And I don't think that's what he is. But like I said, also protect myself and to make a logical statement. People are going to do whatever they want to do and to take the direction that they want to take, and sometimes people get too cocky, they get carried away, and they get busted one way or the other. It's really not our business what he does. I mean, people could talk about it. And if people want to report the guy for various reasons, they feel that there's a merit to report him, then do so. If you feel It's a righteous thing to do. I'm out of big egos business. I'm handling my own. So what people want to do is their business. It always comes to a head eventually. The pustule, festers. Comes to a head. You know how that works. But yeah, there's obviously something going on why he doesn't want to stay in the Philippines. That's pretty goddamn obvious. There's a story behind everybody on here. There's a story behind everything, and why he abruptly left Philippines for Thailand or Vietnam, actually. Yeah, yeah. There's definitely something going on legally or financially or something going on in the Philippines. But then again, that's his thing to deal with, man. Randy says that Discord exposed texts proving ego enlisted ET freely to harass you. Well, ET could be anybody. Could be somebody in his family. Could be anybody. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't phase me, dude. ET. It doesn't phase me. Hey, look, I'm just a messenger. That's all I am. I'm just a messenger, and I got things to do. I did a long show this morning, 2 hours. I'm not going to get stuck again because you guys feel like talking. I absolutely appreciate you guys. You've been fantastic lately. I'm getting a better following. The numbers are going up. Subscribers are going up. People are paying more attention. I've got the other platforms that are pro in my direction. It kind of seems that way. And we're in a good direction. You know, there is power with numbers, absolutely. Look at I got a 19 already on here. So, and I just came on, but okay. Region says actually, Big Ego fled from the Philippines because his wife was after him and trying to extort him for lots of money. This is own word. Well, you know what? And I'll put the disclaimer on the side for that. I don't need one for that. I did see his Facebook page. I witnessed his Facebook page. And that's not far from the truth. It's his own words. He was upset with her. And I told you something was going on. But now everything is hunky dory because, he kind of settled with whatever he was going to do. Everything's hunky dory now. Yeah. Regis said, just because he cheated on her for the 1 millionth time, but this time impregnated Honey Co. So he fled and met up with Honey Co. in Vietnam. Yeah, seems that way, doesn't it? Pennywise says, was she going to call the police on him for having a harem while married? I don't know, man. I don't know. Regent says that he pursued his wife to accept the arrangement and relocated everyone out of the Philippines. Oh, the plot thickens, man. The plot thickens, my friends. Hey, listen, man. Would you guys just carry on this conversation for a little bit while I attend to something? I wasn't really intending to come on again, but I got this email from somebody and I thought it was very interesting, and I thought I'd share it to you, and rightfully so. I have every right to share it with you. They do enough shit talk about me, but when facts come out, I want to share it with you guys, and you guys have been fantastic lately. I must say that, and I've been gaining a lot of support lately. Surprising to me, but I've been gaining a lot of support. People are coming out of the woodwork, and they're praised to be support, and they're coming out with all the information about the other people that they were holding in for a while. Was she going to call the police on him for having harem? I don't know. Regent says Denny pursued his wife to accept the arrangement and relocated everyone out of the Philippines. That's very suspicious to me. That's very suspicious. Now, please, on a note here, and a disclaimer, I'm not accusing the ego of anything at all. There's no accusatory statements in here at all. And what people write on here is going to be their responsibility, not mine. I'm just the messenger, and I'm also reading your comments, and some of them make sense to me. It's really up to the audience to do the mathematics on this and come up with their own conclusion. But yes, I would say that it's very suspicious what's been going on since that time, and he took off to Vietnam. I, too, was provided at the time a copy of the Facebook statement, and he was knocking his wife. He absolutely was. He absolutely was. And it was about greed. It was about, I saw that, or my own ears. I've seen that. Everybody else has. So there's no lying there. There's absolutely no lying. There's no building up something that is supposed to be nothing to something that is something. I've seen it. Everybody else has seen it. So if everybody else has, then we have to take it to be true, right? And Pennywise says, "Yeah, it makes sense why he fled the Philippines." Vision says, "How am I the only one who watched that stream where Big E was trash talking his baby mama?" I don't know, man. I'm just reading your comments. I'll either agree with you or I won't. If I agree with you, I'll tell you. Pennywise says he took back the power from the Filipinos by taking them out of the Philippines. Ah, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, makes sense to me. Regent says Big E left his wife and kids for almost an entire year in 2024, and it was with Honeyco. Guy is a big time slime ball. Well, I'll leave my comments out of that and keep it to myself. Yeah, 100% Pennywise, Regent says. Okay, could you guys go on and continue the dialogue? I got to do a few things. I wasn't going to come on, but I wanted to inform you this what's going on in Discord. There are people that want to call up his business, other authorities to check into this matter because we don't know what's going on, man. You know, and yes, the kids are out of school and shit, and they say they're homeschooled, and there's no law against that, I guess. But I don't know how each country does this. I really don't. I don't know, but there's something wrong going on here. I'm suspecting it. I'm surmising it. The information's coming together, and this guy's going to explode like a stick of dynamite. You know, apparently, yes, I did see. I hold on. Huh. Yes, I do remember the Facebook thing that was turned around. That was absolutely him. That was absolutely him saying what he was saying about his wife. I saw that. Everybody else, we can't deny that. I'm not going to deny I've seen that. So yes, there's some amicable deal they worked out apparently to make everything, kosher and copacetic. That's how it works. You know, cooperate with me, and I'll make things good for you. Isn't that what happens a lot? Yeah, that's my thoughts on that anyway. Uh, Discord posted his dating profile. Yes, I know the golden something, which was created in 2012. And at that time, the ego was living in Texas and was looking for women, man or couples. Yeah, I remember it said that. I saw that. He was looking for women, men, or couples. I've seen that before. Yes, it's true, your statement. This is way before the genre started. He was going under that name of Golden or Gold something or something. Yeah. The two older children of April look full Filipino. From the videos, it looks like he only has one kid with April. Big Ego needs to pay for the oldest child to get braces. She has a big overbite that can be uh, that can be fixed with braces. Ego's wife has a healthy weekly allowance. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. It's the price you pay sometimes, in life to keep somebody happy and not to create any internal, external pressures. Make them happy one way or the other. That's how they do it. That's how politicians do it. That's how they all do it. Talk about money and it appeases the beast. That's just the way it happens, you know. Okay, you guys run your own for a little bit here, and I got to do some shit. I could end the stream, but I'm going to leave it on for a little while. Let you guys talk. I'll read it afterwards. I'm going to give you the forum to talk about this. Is that fair enough? Go right ahead, man. We got 17 in here. I got to tend to a few things, but I'll probably be back. But I'm giving you an open forum to talk about this and let it all out. Tell how you feel. What do you see? What did you hear? What sense did you make out of all this? Is this guy a really good man? Pretends to be, and so such a pillar of the community? You decide. I'll be back.
I'm actually right here, coming back to computer screen. Yeah, apparently there's a lot of heavy duty shit going on in the background here, and Discord is kind of going out of their way to do research, and all this information, interesting information, is showing up. Of course, I'm just a messenger here. I'm not involved in any of that shenanigans. I'm out of that shit. I don't fuck with any legal issues anymore unless I have to. I've done my job, and I got to handle one more thing. We'll take care of that too. Other than that, everything else is personal and private, and I'll deal with things my own way outside of the legal system beyond some point. But the truth always comes out in the end about people. It's almost like it can't help being done, you know, because people are obviously very inquisitive on YouTube. It's obvious that not many people like the guy at all, and how he even shows his face on here and his children and everything. And considering the relationship he has and what goes on with that relationship is highly immoral. It's according to whether you're a religious person, which he claims he is, but people are going to do things the way they feel fit to do, and they feel they have a right to do it, and generally they do. But when it comes to children's education and being in a family unit where there's more than one woman involved that is sleeping in the same bed and sharing everything, and it seems immoral to me. If there's any such thing as morals, it's just my opinion. It's immoral to me. But see, that's me. I'm a one-person man. That's enough for me. But people want to, push their wallet around. But the truth is, and I could say this without any disclaimer, a lot of people who have a fat wallet, if the power of their money goes to their head, and they're leading a good life, their job pays for their travels and everything else. And when he has some little spiel to do for the company, writing the company, and they're trying to show the company with an immoral person that they hired. And, I've been down that road, and we're not going down there again. And certainly I'm not. And whoever wants to do whatever they want to do, that's entirely up to them. But, a lot of people do pass judgment on here on YouTube, obviously so. And he likes to pass judgment on people too. But it's okay when he does it. But when it happens to him, he falls apart. And a lot of people don't like this guy at all. At least they pretend they do. And they kiss up to him because he's got a fat wallet. And he might have lost a lot of that money in his wallet on that incident on Facebook because something had to be remedied. And all of a sudden, they're all chummy again. So what do you say about that? They reached some amicable conclusion to whatever the situation was that was going on. He made it very clear in his Facebook. Did he not? Did his own words that you guys quoted, about how he felt that his wife was taking advantage of him monetarily? He said that. I didn't. I didn't say that. I could prove that. And through everybody else on here agrees too. They've all seen the Facebook posting. Why he did that? Well, he wanted her to see it. And she knows that she was going to read, but that's a mistake that he made. He wanted her to see that, but a lot of people copied it, and they still have copies of it. I might even still have a copy. It might be on this desktop. I'd have to look for that, but other people probably have copies. So maybe they should repost it. If anybody has it, why don't you repost it? You send it to me, and I could do it. Money makes everyone happy if there is tension. Yeah, money solves everything, doesn't it, in this world, doesn't it? Regent says that's disgusting. Wasn't April shown on a video making out with Honeycomb? Yeah. Well, it was that outing, that the notorious outing that they had at a bar when he was actually grabbing his own wife's breasts on camera as if it was a comical thing to do. It was disgusting is what it was. It showed that no respect for his wife at all as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion. Then that's when his wife went up on a dance floor, was dancing with Honeycomb, and it wasn't just two chicks dancing. I mean, they were kind of at it, okay? And everybody saw that. No lies here, nothing made up. Fact versus fiction, and this is fact. I thought it was disgusting, and I said it was, And I even remember that Filipina blogger, Vicky, from Wabwell, her YouTube name was Exotic Filipina. Yeah, I remember. Regent says that, well, she did a live talking about how Ego stalked her and made her multiple offers for sex. Well, I don't know that to be true. I'll make a note that is your statement and opinion. It's not mine. I don't know what happened between the two. I did hear something about that. I can't verify it. I can't bring it to some conclusion of truth. We're not going to go there. I'm taking I'm being very careful what I say on here, every fucking word. You guys can talk about it, and it's your opinion. We'll look at your comments as opinions, and let's regard them as opinions. There's something that many things that are proven that you have talked about that I've seen and other people have also seen. That would be true. That would be true. Yeah. Regent says an ego slept with Sob Sob, his Yaya. This is all fact. When April found out, Sob Sob was fired. Well, I don't know. I follow things, but I don't follow everything. And you guys seem to know more details about stuff than I do. I'll just take that as a statement from you. I don't know that to be fact. Now, if you ask me, Frank, would it surprise you? No, I'd say absolutely not. It wouldn't surprise me at all. So these people on their morals, they're talking about moral turpitude and all this shit. Well, he failed on that test. That's for damn sure. No, I don't like the guy. I'm not going to pretend that I do like the guy in any form or way. Do I feel he's a decent human? No, I don't feel that way. That's my opinion. It's my own personal opinion. Has he done wrong to people? Yes. Did he finance somebody on a complaint against me? I'm 100% positive that he has something to do with that too. So you can see I have some reasons not to like the guy. He shouldn't have put his nose in anybody else's business. It was wrong to do that. He likes to get revenge on people in his own way. That's what he likes to do. But now when the tables turn against him, he's getting a little bit worried. Is this reign of terror? Is this reign of control? Is money going to come to an end at some point? That's for the future to see. It's not for me to do. And what anybody else does is up to you. I'm out of that. I'm completely out of that. I want to take care of my present situations going on with me right now. I don't want to get legally involved with anything unless I really have to. And it looks like I might have to with something. I don't want to, but it looks like I might have to. But whatever goes on with him goes on with him. It's his business, and if it smacks him in the face later on, then I guess so. But yes, I did see the Facebook. I did see the Facebook piece on there along with everybody else. We could 125% with pure accuracy say that we heard what he said in regards to his wife. We all heard it, and I don't know if I should feel sorry for her, his wife, or not. But if she goes along with this, well, I don't know what to say to that. Apparently, she has no problem. They made things amicable between them. They worked it out like two adults, and I guess that's that. She has to live with him. I don't. And if she's happy with their living arrangements, then more power to both of them. Really, that's all I got to say. But it's all trouble all the way down the line because every time you get in an argument, the Filipino could hold that above somebody's head financially. Any holdings he might have in the Philippines is going to be under her name more likely. And she could hold it over his head anytime she wants. He knows that. I think a lot of this shit was brought up and something went down where he felt that, in his own words, that, and I'm not quoting exact, I don't know the exact words, but I know what it came down to was that he was including, saying that she was greedy and he was using him for money. And we all heard that. Did I make this up? No. Will you agree with me? I didn't make this up. Please say yes or no. It's what you heard. It's what I heard. It was his own Facebook, so it must be true. Why would he talk about that otherwise? Why? Yeah, yeah. And Regent says that Sob Sob was the Yaya of Ego's kids. Yeah, yeah. Regent says, now I'm just quoting what you're writing, that his wife is trash. You can tell how she speaks and carries herself. How do you explain to your kids who Honeycoat is and your new half brother? Classy group. Okay, I'm just reading your comment. I'm acknowledging your comment. I have an opinion on that, but I won't share it on here. But keep the comments coming. A lot of it is factual that I will agree with you. Some of them I'm not going to say anything at all, but I'm giving you a forum to speak your mind. That's exactly what's going on right here, right now. My second show today, my first one was over 2 hours. I didn't plan to do a long show here, but I've got a very active audience and there's good dialogue going on, and I appreciate the dialogue. Um, yeah, I appreciate your opinion, Region 6. Um, I'm not going to even go there with the legal atmosphere that's been going on YouTube and everything going on. I'm not going to call his wife any names. I'm not going to go there. I'm not even going to remotely go there. Just let whatever he does, his work, as far as the work that he does on YouTube, as far as exposing a lot of things going on in his life and having it blow up in his face, that's all his doing. You got to understand that people follow people on Facebook and otherwise. They know what's going on. They record it. And you can't lie about it later on. If it's been seen by everybody, if it's been recorded by everybody, then there must be some truth to it, especially when it comes out of the man's own mouth. Yes, apparently there was problems going on with his wife. Something was amicably settled, obviously. She's smiling and she's all happy with the world. So everything kind of worked out until the next problem comes up. And she'll have something over his head, probably. A lot of Filipinos do that, unfortunately, but they do. So he's kind of watching what he does now, and but he's not really watching everything because people have a lot of concern about his children and not putting them in school and traveling from country to country, and children witnessing a lot of this stuff. I will say that without any legal consequences. I will say that what I have personally witnessed is that a lot of this shit goes on in front of the kids. Uh, they're very confused about who their parents are. They don't understand the mixture of the couples. They're very confused about this, and no children should be put through that at all. No children. No children. I'll say that. Maybe they all converted to the Mormon church or Islam or whatever, you know. The region says Ego has 2 kids with 2 different American women, 5 kids total with 4 different women. And you say I'm fucked up? Some people try to label me that Frank is lame and Frank is fucked up and is living I live the most mundane life of most people on here. I got one woman, that's it. No complications. Have a loving relationship. It has nothing to do with money. Not a fat wallet, because I really don't have that fat of a wallet. You're saying I'm broke, right? So let's go with that. Nothing to do with money. She don't stay with me for money. She's already got the house. No problem. It was well planned. You know, she kicked me out anytime she wants, if that's what she wanted to do. But I think everybody out there knows we got a good, loving relationship. There's not one person out there. There's some big time trolls that stick up for me and say Frank is not a pedophile. I don't believe he's anything like that. I've heard a number of people saying that. So, well, the rumor that went around that Frank did this, that. They all understand it. They know my relationship is good. They know I'm living the life that some people would just love to have and they can't have. I try not to put complications in my life. The biggest complication is just going on YouTube, and that's about it. And there's a lot of comments being spread around because they decide they don't like you, or maybe they want to see something happen to you and nothing's happening. They want to see you die. They want to see you get deported, and they get awfully defensive and offensive when they see that nothing's going on. They're not going to be happy until I die, naturally or otherwise, or I get deported. That's just the way they are, man. I don't want to be that way. Let them do what they need to do and let themselves get into a world of trouble. I'm not going to be part of anything like that. I'm just not going there anymore. I'm just not going there. April's oldest child is not Big E's blood. Look, I lost track of everything. You know what I'm saying? Ego claimed to have an MBA from Stanford, and his wife is studying for a pilot's license. He laughed my ass off. Okay, buddy. Well, you know, I don't believe 75 to 90% of anything I hear on YouTube anyway. People, look at John Blaze, what he's saying about his life and his accomplishments and all that, which has turned out to be all bullshit, as we know. Look at Kevin is claiming to be happy in Thailand, but the guy is fucking miserable. We all know that. We just humor him. That's all we do. We just humor him. We know the real facts about a lot of these trolls. They've been brought to the surface, if not by me, by other people. We know Ricky's life, how sad that is. We know Popeye's life, how sad that is. I mean, the Don C, how sad it must be without his prime concern in his life, when he has a lovely Thailand wife, and he puts me as a priority in his life. That's how sad everything is on here. I'll tell you what, this is your show as of right now. And if you want to fade out and leave to go find another show, you can. I'm going to leave this on for you guys to talk about it. I'm going to actually have the courtesy of giving you guys your own forum. If some of you guys don't have your own show, I got to tend to my own business. I haven't even showered yet. Thank you very much. I have to shower. And there is some things I do need to do, but you guys have been a swell audience. And I really like the fact that Discord has really turned the corner. They really have. And what I've been getting from people at Discord is totally pro me, where there were times that they weren't, but they're beginning to realize more and more things that are just not right. And they no longer can stand for it. They're finally speaking out about the trolls. They've had it, and they are taking their own actions, and very proud of the Discord people for doing that. They're doing a bang-up job. Fantastic. Keep up the good work, and thank you for the honorary award, basically, that they pretty much gave me. And we've come a long way. We've come a long way. And now everybody who's recognized as the creepiest fucking trolls, like Popeye, all these people, Don C, Big E, and all these people, are finally getting the recognition that they want. But unfortunately for them, they're not getting some positive recognition. They're not at all. They're getting attacked now more often than ever, because the truth is always coming out, and people see the truth as what it is. And these people all have miserable lives in one form or another. They lead very complicated lives. And as I said, I don't care how fat your fucking wallet is. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. It doesn't make you better than me. If I have a little more money than some YouTubers on here, it doesn't make me any better than them either. Nope, it doesn't. I don't see life that way. I'm not a rich person, but I got probably more than some and a lot less than others. And I don't have to dispel all the information, what my net worth is and from what source or continued source other than my Social Security. And there is other money coming in very legitimately, and that I will never talk about. We're not relying on a Social Security check, I will tell you that much. We're doing very well here. We're very happy. We have a stable relationship. I have a very stable life, other than people trying to interfere in my life, such as Barry's girlfriend, who put in a false report on me. But that will eventually come to fruition. Just end the stream and come back on later if you have time. Yeah, I might do that. Frank, if you're not actively participating, you might as well end the stream. Yeah, I agree with you there. It's not fair. But I just thought that I'd give you guys the courtesy, which not many people do, of giving you your own your own channel, and have you guys have the opportunity to express yourselves. Because at some point you don't need me, because you're doing a wonderful job conversing with each other. And I just thought it was an idea. But we'll do another show another time. But remember, folks, don't believe everything you hear on here, because most of it is like bullshit. And, things you say can hurt people. And they can hurt their spouses, their girlfriends, their boyfriends, whatever. And there's certain things you can say on here. There's certain things you just can't say, man. And you deserve to get everything that's happening to you. If you go out of line like that, and I think this thing is real about karma. I've never been so convinced in my life, because everything I think of now is coming to fruition with a lot of people who's dropping dead, who's exposing themselves either accidentally or purposely or whatever. But the truth is coming out. And I always say, man, it all comes out in the wash, and it really does on YouTube. They slip. They make Freudian slips. They say things accidentally on Facebook or whatever. Everybody catches it. The truth comes out, and then they're not respected anymore. Look, I have never done anything that bad on YouTube that I deserve any of this kind of negative attention. I really have not. let the truth be told. They're jealous and envious of my life. Not a rich man, but I've accomplished what I wanted to, and that really bothers them. People know I'm not a bad dude. I'm not even a bad father. I'm not a bad anything. You know, maybe I have a bad judgment of some people, a bad judgment of character sometimes, and I believe people. I get a little bit gullible, but I've been beyond that. No more gullibility and naivety anymore with me. I'm past that point. I see things for what they are, not for what they could be or should be, but I see things for what they are. And the very people that talk shit about me are the biggest losers. And that's just not a statement of anger or anything. It's just a known statement. If you look at their lives or get any idea of how they're living, that goes without saying. It's an honest, factual statement. These are the people that are the fuck ups. It's not me. They'd like to see me fuck up. They'd like to see me die. They'd like to see me get deported. I've had people wishing me dead. That's how bad the society has become. And social media has been the exact platform to show the true nature of people, man. Karma chameleon, absolutely. Okay, we're going to take your advice. We're going to end this stream, and we will keep it on. Nothing to hide on this stream. And I watched everything I said on here, you know. And you got to be careful sometimes because they're trying to find fault with you all the time. All the time. Bye, Pennywise. Take care. And I really appreciate the support I've been getting on my channel lately. I think people have come to terms with everything on here, and they said fun is fun, but we really got to go after the assholes on here. That's what it really comes down to. People like Big Kevin and all these people. It's time. You know, it's time. It's time finally to speak out and do what you need to do to remedy something, you know, and don't be afraid. That's the problem. People are too afraid. They're too afraid to say anything. There's things you could do privately. There's things that nobody has to know. You feel somebody's doing something terribly wrong to a Filipina, to the society out here in the Philippines, to their children, or something like that. You need to be proactive. With that being said, thank you guys. Thanks everybody for showing up. It's done.
People get sick. So what? If they couldn't find their way back to America to really get the care that they need. Yeah, I preach for that too. But we don't know the cause and the situation of why this man couldn't get back to America to get the care he needs. I thought he explained that on one of his videos too. But to really blame it on having a marriage in America and another marriage in America and then go over to the Philippines and then have a marriage and having a little kid is the reason why people are fucking dropping dead. Come on, man. Come on. That could be your ass tomorrow. Don't make fun of people's debt. Because you yourself, with all the issues that you have, you might not be around for too long.
Well, I'm actually approaching lunchtime here in a couple of minutes, but it's amazing how you could find out more about yourself by actually learning about yourself and what you're doing, which can cause certain issues. Well, I entitled this Why I Don't Travel Much. Well, I'm going to tell you why. And you might want to listen and learn for this because it does affect a lot of older adults. It's not that it's your age, there's other factors and what medications you've been taking. A lot of people know that I was into the benzos. I'm not on them anymore, but there's still after effects that are hitting me, micro sleep problems during the day. I want to give you an example because this is how I learned. And actually, I give a lot of credit to these applications like Gemini because you can ask it questions and it researches the whole database. You put the right information in. Then, with the right information, you will get the right results. Now, if anybody's having trouble sleeping and you're older, that's actually pretty normal. There was factors leading to that, and what happened? Well, number one, your age. You tend to several things. You tend to wake up. You're not getting, even older adults need at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night. But that's not happening with a lot of older adults, and I'm one of them. So you put that into the formula, okay, right then and there. Okay, and if you had to take any kind of a sleep aid, and I was actually using alprazolam as a sleep aid, but here's the interesting thing about alprazolam. Very interesting, actually. The alprazolam has a half-life of so many hours. Now, the older you are, and now here's how it works. You use that as a sleep aid, as many people actually do. Although it wasn't meant as a sleep aid, people do actually do use it. It wasn't really approved really by the FDA for use as sleep. But a lot of people find that it does help. Okay, and that's why people would take that. Okay, other than having like anxiety or something, if you had an anxiety attack, you'd have to take one of those. So, you want to carry that around. That rarely ever happens with me. Thank goodness for small miracles. But when you take a medicine like that for sleep, this is what happens. The medicine has a half-life to it, which means its effectiveness of actually being sedating and helping you sleep only lasts for a few hours. And that's why you'll have frequent wake-ups, anywhere from 1, 2, or 3 times you might wake up at night, because the effect, the sedation effect, it acts on your central nervous system, doesn't really become effective after a few hours. Now, what happens is the next day, I'll give you a great example. I was in the living room, and I'm saying this as an educational thing, not that I'm trying to share these personal things with you, but actually as an educational thing. I was in the living room today, just relaxing, and I didn't care what was on TV. I just kicked back. And I get what you call micro sleep. Micro sleep is where you're sitting there and all of a sudden you just nod out, just for a couple of seconds, not even microseconds. And you wake up, and maybe a couple of minutes later, you're nodding out again. So what your body's trying to tell you is that you're not getting what you call restorative sleep. Well, I'm getting good at this, man. I don't know. You're not getting enough restorative sleep. And your body's trying to tell you that. Okay. Now, why? Well, first of all, you're losing sleep because of the, what's the word? The efficacy of the prescription pill that you're taking. Remember, it only lasts a matter of a few hours. Then when it wears off, it's almost like a withdrawal, really, that's going on. And your body's saying, well, we're not using this anymore. I've done my job and I got you to sleep. There you go, pal. Hope you liked it. But now the effects are wearing off. I have to go away now. But here's the thing. It stays in your system the next day, basically. That's what was going on. Because when you get older, as compared to being younger, your body can eradicate. But as you get older, it stays in your system a little bit longer. So, two things. You face a new day. You still have this in your system. And it still has a sort of a somewhat sedating effect. However, you also were not having restorative sleep. So overnight, add the age to it, add the fact that there's no restorative sleep because of this, but you're losing sleep because as I said, the efficiency of the medicine that you're taking has that half-life. So it's wearing off. Even though it stays in your system the next day, you're not ridding of it the next day. So naturally, you're going to be kind of sleepy. So one of the reasons, besides the weather and shit like that, and because the hassle of traveling and all that has to go through is another effect, because basically I'm pretty tired during the day. Although I have a lot of energy, once I energize myself, I'm absolutely fine. I have no problem. But if I get relaxed, I'm going to have a series of micro sleep episodes. It's called micro sleep. It's when you might be sitting there, you might be watching a movie, but if it's really boring, the movie, that adds to the effect too, I must say. So you're going to be having what you call micro sleep episodes where you're going to nod out and you're going to do it multiple times while you sit there and say, damn, I'm just so fucking tired. What the hell? Well, research really helps. And there's a lot of people who have other things going on with them. If they just did a little bit of research into themselves and learn about themselves, why they're so fat or why they're not, this is not happening for them, why they don't have any energy. A lot of different things go on. As you get older, it seems like your need for sleep is less, but that's not true because you still need a restorative sleep. It's kind of sleep that you wake up in the morning and you say, welcome morning, and you feel relaxed and you feel, very, you had good restorative sleep. But you can't really get restorative sleep on certain prescriptions. There are sleep medications you could take that could give you that, but I've never really ventured much into it, although I know side effects of some I may have tried in the past weren't great. Hope this helps you because there are people out there that experience the same thing, not necessarily with taking a certain prescription drug, but they all have side effects on them. Now, this has been through the years that I've been trying to figure things out. What causes this? What's the causative factor of this and that? And it has nothing to do with stress in light of certain events that have been going on. It has nothing to do with that at all. It has to do with the fact that I made a choice of taking a drug that will help you sleep and has helped many people, millions and hundreds of thousands anyway. But the problem is you just don't get restorative sleep with that. And you got to find an alternative, and there are alternatives, but you have to, kind of play around. But the problem is what I went through is getting off the medicine, which I'm off. There's still, and it really takes a matter of months, even up to 6 months, really, to restore the GABA level and all that. So your brain basically takes over again, producing all the good stuff, dopamine, all that other shit that's going on. It could last as long as 6 months. I'm saying, wow, that's incredible, man. So basically, you'll take a medicine because it does something good for you, but a lot of times it's just a band-aid. It's just a band-aid to many people. And you got to do things right. And there's a certain way of getting off medications. I don't care what they are. Okay, it's time to eat a little bit of lunch. We got to put that down here, and I'll eat a little bit of that. Oh, my goodness. What do we have here? My, oh, my, ain't B. What do we have here? It's a steak with potatoes and broccoli. Broccoli, I used to call it, because you remember the outbreak of E. coli, and it came from broccoli. So ever since then, I've called it broccoli. Cute, huh? Yeah, okay. There we go. Broccoli. Ain't B. You gonna have some of this, babe?
They still have them.
Yeah. Why don't you have a dish of this? So, if you really don't have any resources for things, you could always refer to things like these programs like Gemini and all that, which is a database of information that may not give you all the answers, but it can give you some answers.
Yummy.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. No, yeah. Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate that. So don't be afraid. And that's the only AI applications really. One thing I like, we can restore old photographs, make them come alive. I like that part of AI. But truthfully, if you're not getting what we call restorative treatment, now you get REM, rapid eye movement, which means that you're probably dreaming. But there are different stages. And a lot of people are under the impression that they're getting restorative sleep just because they're having dreams, but that's not true. There are different stages. And it's not necessarily restorative sleep. Keep that in mind. Hope you're learning something from this. But yeah, I never got into the travel for two reasons a lot. It's something to do with money. One of them was that the modes of transportation, the time it takes, waiting, the different modes of transportation to get from point A to point D, because it can be really complicated in the Philippines. It's not always some straight shot from one city or whatever to another. It's not always a straight shot. And many times you have to take different forms of transportation, everything from planes to buses to grab cabs to ferries, whatever might be involved. And you'd be surprised what some people have to go through to get somewhere that's not really that far away, according to what island you're on, but in order to get there, it will take different modes of transportation to get there. And you've got to go by their schedules. And as you get older, maybe you're really not into, and I hear it time and time again, and I'm not the only one that's talking about this because I've heard of the shows, that they feel the same way, that it's really tiring and cumbersome to really, you set your sights on going to, say, I don't know, Boracay or somewhere. I don't want to go there anyway. And from where you live, according to what province and what island you're living on, it could be quite a task to get from point A to point B, which a lot of times it is for me. Even going to Cebu, I still got to take an hour and a half ferry ride to get to another port. And then from there, it requires about 3.5 hours of transportation, either by taxi, by bus, or by a grab cab, which is quicker, to make it into Cebu. And it takes time just to go less than 100 miles, all that traveling. Well, of course, if they had airplanes that were actually running anymore, they tried to do this, but, well, I guess the airline wasn't making much money at this airport. Now the airport's pretty much been taken over by these skydivers, and they're loving it. They got the whole airport to themselves. There goes a siren. It must be 12 o'clock. There we go. It must be running. It's a little off, though, actually. My clock says 12:11. Okay. It's the Philippines. Everything takes time. So that's why you'll see me up early in the morning doing shows. Because chances are I may have been up even earlier than 5 o'clock. Now you have the choice to put your head down and go to sleep. And generally I can do that. But sometimes I say, fuck it, and I stay up. Now, why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this that some people might have some similar problems where they're not getting, as they get older, some restorative sleep. And that creates a problem. Now, although I have a hell of a lot of energy for a man my age, and I do, but once I'm in relaxed mode, example, watching TV during the day, not getting restorative sleep hits me like a brick. And, you talk to an average GPC doctor, they don't know any shit about this, really. They don't. And sometimes you have to do your own research. Say the truth, I think I'm alive because of the research I do. Seriously. I thought about that. Remember, you're your own doctor in a sense when you know your body better than anybody else. Even better than a doctor. He's not living in your body. So, maybe it answers some questions with people. Why is Frank up at 5 in the morning? Do I want to be up at 5 in the morning? Hell no. I'd rather be up at 8 or 9. But that ain't going to happen. And for a lot of seniors, that doesn't happen. Some of them in combination have a large prostate on top of everything else. And they have to get up multiple times a night to urinate. That's pretty common with older adults. My prostate seems to be fine, and it's just that I will take the opportunity to urinate while I'm up already. I figure, well, I feel my bladder's full, I might as well go. Save some time. But I don't wake up because I have to urinate. And that happens with a lot of older adults. Yeah. In fact, it's quite common. BPH, if that's what the case is with you. Benign prostate hypertension, whatever the hell it is. Okay, other than that, that's why I don't really travel a lot. And that'll change off a bit. But if you're going to get into a specific medication, understand what you're taking, the efficacy of it, understand the half-life. Everything pretty much has a half-life with it that you take, which means it remains in your body for a set period of time and wears off and out to your liver and your system and pisses out, you piss it out, whatever, as toxins. But some things remain in your body for a long time. And if you do it on a daily basis, rather, you continually have that medicine in you, although you're not going to really necessarily get the same kind of sedative effect that you took it for to go to sleep. It's still going to be in your body. And there's still a little bit of sedative effects that still hang in there. Henceforth, that's why you might get tired during the day. And because of the fact that maybe you wake it up anywhere from 1, 2, or 3 times a night, you're not getting deep sleep. You're not getting restorative sleep. So I hope you learned something. I did, and if it helps you in any way, well, great. If it don't, well, you learned something. But that's why I really got into a lot of travel, because it's a combination of elements, as I just talked about. But it's also because sometimes the weather, as I said, I'm not an extreme hot weather person. I got too spoiled. I acclimated to my air conditioner, and that's not necessarily a good thing, because you need to expose yourself to the heat and get acclimated to it to a point. And always going under your air conditioner, well, it kind of takes away from your tolerance to the heat. In countries like this, in the Philippines, anywhere in Southeast Asia, you're close to the equator. It does get hot, it does get humid. And that could be a deterrent to some older people, seniors, that just suddenly decide, well, I don't know, man. I like to go here, but unless it's a straight shot, and I don't have to suffer the heat and switching off to different modes of transportation, they wind up saying, fuck it. Say, I'm happy just where I am. And a lot of seniors do that. And I have talked to seniors about that too. And it's pretty much the same thing. They don't want to go through all the rigmarole of the travel to get from point A to point B and just go to a place that might be similar or slightly dissimilar than where you're coming from. Like I said, I got beaches right here if I really want to go to a beach. But there's a lot of beauty in the Philippines to see, absolutely. There's a lot. And I've seen some of it, but not enough as far as I'm concerned. There's some great places I want to go to, but age, again, is another factor. Am I a backpacker? Well, years ago, I could have done that, and I did. But not really now. You're not going to see me going up big inclines on the mountainside, especially in hot weather. I don't think you're going to see that happen. You won't see it on any of my videos, because it ain't going to happen. I'll take a straightaway. I'll take the flat land, even with little hills. That's fine. But I'm not going to be climbing big inclines in hot weather. That's just not going to happen. Not with me, it's not. I'm not that stupid. I go with the flow of things, and my body speaks to me. And it says, you can do it, kid. Or I may turn around and say, no, don't even try it, asshole. Don't even go there. Take it a chance. So if your body's telling you that, then listen to your body. Bring back my body to me. Bring back my body to me. Yeah. See what I mean? So don't pretend you know me, because you don't. And you don't know my body. So if you saw me on a show at 5:30 in the morning, there's a reason. Because it means I'm already up. And to kill some time, I'll do a show, more than likely. Sometimes not. But can you just go back to bed again and try to get more sleep? Yeah. You can, and that's worked for me sometimes, not always. But once I'm up, I get distracted really easily. And I think that's the problem. I think that happens with a lot of people. You're up already. I'm up already. A lot of people who drink coffee, I'm going to have my cup of coffee. And once you do that with the caffeine, you're up for good. You're up for good. Me, I have my tea. And it does have caffeine in it. Not like coffee, though. But once I'm up, I'm up. This is wonderful that she prepared me this dish. Man, how nice. Wow. So, I'm in the process of kind of changing things up. But you see, now I don't feel bad because I understand where I'm getting this micro sleep shit during the day. A typical thing is I'm sitting on a chair and just out of nowhere, it just comes. You don't feel it coming on. No, you don't feel it coming on. All of a sudden, you're out. You might even snore for a microsecond. Your body is saying, son, you're not getting enough restorative sleep, bud. You need to get some more restorative sleep. There you go. Heal thyself is what some people say. Not all doctors do. Yeah. And sometimes you got to be your own doctor because you know your body better than anything else. If it takes a little help and you got to look it up, we live in fantastic times, man. A wealth of information. Go to one of those chat GPT things like Gemini. Well, I proved Don wrong about white-tip sharks. Yeah, he's still pissed off about that. It's just research, man. You want to know something, research it, or ask somebody else who has some knowledge about something that you don't. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to look up information. You know, this is like an encyclopedia at your hands. Think how great this is. I use that Gemini thing every day for looking up all kinds of stuff. It's amazing, really. As I did a demonstration of it yesterday, I think it was. It's amazing. So yeah, I do get tired during the day. Normally the heat can make you tired also. Then I add an extra bonus to this. Why am I extra tired this morning? Well, you know how I take supplements. And I take D3 with the K2. That's one supplement, you know. But in order for that to work, you got to take magnesium with it. And if anything, I was robbing magnesium out of my body. That's what was happening too. I live and learn. And I don't want to take magnesium during the day, the glycinate, which is really rapid release. We need magnesium, but I've been losing it. And the effectiveness of the D3 with K2 was not taking effect because it needed that magnesium to kind of to synergize the whole function of getting calcium into the bones in your system where it belongs. I've been taking it the wrong way every day. The D2, D3, and K2, whatever, it becomes not useless, but almost if you don't take it with the magnesium. But wait a minute, magnesium has these sedative effects to it, to your muscles, nervous system. It helps relax you. So holy shit, was taking a drug that's used to basically kind of sedate your central nervous system. It's in your system the next day, and then you're taking magnesium during the day, and no wonder you're nodding out. So I decided to start taking D3 with K2 at night before I go to bed with the magnesium along. I don't think I take any other supplements. No, not at night. No. Take it then. It can actually help you sleep, and it actually has a little bit. So it's relearning things where you've always thought you knew something about something, then you learn later on that you've been doing something the wrong way the whole damn time. Isn't that amazing? Ain't I amazing?
Why does boredom even exist inside of our brains? And it turns out that it's actually a very natural biological signal that we developed a long time ago. What's happening when we're bored is a bunch of brain regions are coming together.
Will, the big cabin is going to announce his 1-year anniversary with his pocket wussy. Anyway, we've seen that picture before that was taken a long time ago. It's some chick with a huge fucking head. Bigger than his, and that's saying a lot. I don't know where he picked that one up, but it must have cost him a couple of drinks, at least. But when do you ever see him partying with a woman? Never. Now, because if Cabin ever had a real woman, that was a real girlfriend, he would parade it like there's no tomorrow. There's no doubt about that. Doesn't exist. A girl he bought a drink with, posed with, But he's embarrassed about his whole situation, and I understand it. I'm an understanding guy. He's highly embarrassed the fact that this whole moving out of the country thing was basically null and void. It was for nothing. For nothing. But, you know, you gotta feel sorry for the guy in some ways. He made a big mistake. He realizes it. He knows. There's not much you can do about it except make a decision, really, to go back to America. And that's going to happen. You know that. I know that. It's probably the best thing he could actually do. But man, did you see the head on that behemoth? Whew, damn!
You can ask the flowers.
Will, the big cabin is going to announce his 1-year anniversary with his pocket wussy. Anyway, we've seen that picture before. That was taken a long time ago. It's some chick. Well, we got a couple of conversations going the first time. She's on her phone, I'm on mine. So there'll be a sign in the background if you want to try to decipher that. We'll have to deal with that. So I do a little Betty time show here. And hello to Kevin. How are you, Kevin? Happy anniversary. Your whole year, another year being in the country and all alone again. How's that worked out for you so far? Yeah, I know, not very well. Yeah, Kevin used to show these pictures of women that, well, they're pictures. Could be a woman he bought a drink for. Hey, pose for me. Give me a little kiss on the pecker here. A little bit. Don't worry, won't gross you out too much. You'll get a drink from it. Well, you know, some people are meant to be in different countries and some people are really not. And he's not somebody, I think, as I've talked about it many times before, you know, he's killing it. No, I always say he's killing himself very well. The ramen, his lifestyle, he's not moving around much. So, yeah, I guess he's killing something. He's killing himself. So, congratulations on your first anniversary. I'm pretty sure Kevin took that pocket pussy with him. I don't think he'd go anywhere without it. I'm not sure how he got through immigration with it. They probably questioned, what's this dead animal you're taking with you there? What's this dead animal? It's going to have to go through agriculture. Did your pocket pussy have to go through agriculture? Oh, I don't know. Sounds gross. I know. Even gross for me to say that, Kevin. I know. I can't even imagine carrying around something like that. It's horrible. It's horrible. Well, Kevin decided to get on a little bit early. He heard I was on, and he didn't want to wait. He didn't want to wait. So, and that's the way it is. He wants to have the last word in or something. But unfortunately, I am having the last word on this. So let's congratulate Kevin on his new extended loneliness, but this time in a different country. That was a waste of time. That was an absolute waste of time, Kevin. What have you actually accomplished out there? How are you gaining your weight back again? You did such a good job on that medicine when all you had to do was to shut your mouth and stop putting all that shit in your mouth. Besides the shit that comes out of your mouth on a daily basis on your shows, all it took was not to eat as much and watch what you eat. Very simple formula, Kevin. Very simple formula, okay? And to do that. But now that you're gaining your weight, well, what really did you accomplish by moving out of the country? Well, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to think of something. Well, you got to experience a different culture. Well, a very tiny part of it because you really didn't go anywhere. Got beautiful beaches in Thailand. There's so many cultural icons out there of different sorts, beautiful churches and architecture, and to learn a lot about the culture. At least you accomplish something out there. You would hope to do that. The most beautiful beaches in the world are in Thailand, but we never see you at a beach. We see you walk down the block to 7-Eleven, and we can see in the distance some water, but I don't know. It's very rare we ever see you go near a beach or anything like that. Go to a beach or something. Then we can say you're killing it. Well, that still wouldn't be killing it, but, let's see you whoop it up with some gals, you know, not, say I'll buy you a drink if you pose with me for a picture. And by the way, I wouldn't be so proud to post that one picture you did. That girl had a bigger head than Big E. I mean, Jesus Christ, what were you thinking? Were we supposed to be impressed? Well, I wasn't impressed with that one. That's for damn sure. I don't know what your idea of a good-looking woman is, but that one didn't help you out. I hate to tell you that, man. That didn't help you out at all. Who was that masked man, man? She almost looks Tongan, man. No, seriously, it was Samoan. No, more Tongan than Samoan. Where'd you find her? Would it cost you a drink, too? Would it cost you? If you don't mind posing with me, I'll buy you a drink. I want everybody to think that I got a girlfriend. Oh, okay, sir. Probably thinking that the guy was fucking totally a fucktard. Okay, thank you. Here, just sit here, and I'll put the selfie stick on, and let's put our heads together, and, yeah, just like that. Yeah, like that. Well, anyway, my name is Kevin, and I'm a fucking tard. I came here to this country trying to find a woman, but I haven't been very successful so far. Can you help me with that?
Well, big boy, you realize I'm not a real woman, but I'll tell you what, for that drink, I'll pose for the picture for you. How's that?
Okay, that sounds good. Maybe they'll think you're a real woman, and they're gonna think I'm a real he-man. Oh, enjoy yourself, Kevin. Just enjoy yourself, man. Whatever floats your boat, man. But don't get that desperate you're gonna go for the lady boys. Don't be like Licky. I know you admire Licky, but I don't think you really want to go out of desperation in that direction. Do you really? Yeah, and watch your pocket. These gals or lady boys are gonna take your money from you. You know that. I'd understand if you were really killing it out there, Kevin. You had all these girlfriends, and they were just all around you and partying and whatnot. No, I don't mean in a bar situation where you're buying people drinks, and that's not the same, Kevin. You know that's not the same. It's just not. Because you're just basically fooling yourself. Now, this is a picture of you. I want you to understand something. When you did lose a little bit of weight, but you see, what happened was, you decided to, not go all the way and just kind of gave up on yourself. And you're getting to become like that again. And that's a bad direction to go. That's not a good idea. So you probably gained over 30 pounds when you were doing so good. Oh, you were doing so good. You got to go back to where you were, and you were doing okay. You were doing okay. You lost a lot of weight, and you're in the right direction. What happened? What happened? Well, you eating all that 7-Eleven ramen is what's going on. You got to keep the weight down. Now, when you say the expression "you're killing it," do you want to really explain to us what you mean by "you're killing it"? Isn't it some kind of projection of some sort? Isn't it that you're killing yourself, basically? Yeah, because that's what you're doing. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't care what you do with yourself. I'm just a viewer who's making an observation. That's all I am. I'm just a viewer making an observation. And you could do it yourself what you want. But don't come on camera and telling people when they already know you're not killing it. You're not killing anybody but yourself. You're deteriorating. You made a mistake. Say to yourself, I made a mistake to move here. I made a mistake to move here. I made a mistake to move here. Say it to yourself. Mistake to move here. Say it again. I made a mistake to move here. And you did. I'll give it to you for trying, but we know why you went. It had to do with a free trip. Didn't it, boy? Had to do with a free trip. Well, how do you like it so far? You don't. It's bragging rights that I spent a year of my life. I went back to 2 countries. Didn't work out in either country. Didn't work out in America. Didn't work out in Thailand. Didn't work out in Vietnam. And maybe you want to try Cambodia now. Well, if it didn't work out in Thailand, it didn't work out in Vietnam, of all places, you think it's going to work out in Cambodia? You have a bigger language problem. And if you think you had a hard time in Thailand and Vietnam, try Cambodia. It'll be a lot worse. Guaranteed. Put up the white flag, and admit defeat. It's okay. People understand. You know, you try. You thought that women are going to be all over you because you were a white man from America. Well, unfortunately, that's what a lot of expats think. Everybody's going to be all over you. The golden chalice, you know. It's not really true. Especially for you. You're going to have a harder time than the average guy. And I think you know why. But I tell you what, while you're there, surprise us all. Find a real girlfriend that we could believe is a real girlfriend, not because you told them to pose with you. But I'll give you some money to hang out with me because I spent the year anniversary now out of my country and I don't want the guys to think that I didn't succeed. I couldn't get laid. I mean, I got my pocket pussy, but it's not the same thing. Don't cry, Kevin. Maybe you're trying too hard, or maybe you're not trying at all the right way. You know, it could happen in time before you die. It might happen. But don't go and pay for it, though. Nah, owe that to yourself. You don't need to go pay for that kind of stuff. Get a real woman that's interested in you for you, with all your faults. Now, even that lady boy that you posed with the big head, could be Larry, Big Head's sister or something, but she had a huge head, bigger than yours. Maybe that was a good match after all, if you like lady boys. Well, I don't know what your preference is, to be really honest with you. I don't know you personally, but if that's the kind of action that you like, there's plenty out there, but you're still going to have to pay. But I don't think that was your best choice. It's just my opinion. Yeah. Nothing to post on YouTube with, you know what I'm saying, Kevin? No, that's nothing you want to post. At least find a good-looking chick with a small head and pay her for a drink or something and tell her to make believe, you know, she's your girlfriend. At least find a good-looking one, you know, and then you could, you know, boast about it, and there might actually be something that will actually believe you. Anyway, I gotta head to bed. And no, I'm not listening to your show, Kevin. Not tonight. I'm heading to bed. And but I wish you well. I wish you well. You know, if you want to try to tough it out and stay a little longer, then give it a try. Give it the old college try. Well, you've never been to college. But, you know, give it a try. But this time exert yourself a little more, but don't make yourself appear so desperate to the women. They see right through that. Be humble, but also be a real man. And the way you approach them, Don't be too easy. Say, I'll buy you drinks all night if you sit with me. Can I put you on camera to make everybody think I got a girlfriend? Getting hearts now. Hearts and cones. People at least talk. Jesus Christ. I'll stay on a couple of minutes longer if get some dialogue going here. I know you're waiting for his show. I think he's on there now. But I can't watch it, Kevin. I'm sorry. If you get this, I'm sure you'll probably see the show later on or whatever. But I can't watch tonight. I'll catch you dribble tomorrow. Your anniversary, for what? Anniversary of being a fool, of leaving the only country that you would fit in, at least in some way, and have the needed amenities and hospitals and coverage that you need for medical things. And at least you had your family, even if you can't get another woman. Maybe you find one of these women in your church you go to, that Mormon church, whatever it is, Seventh-day Adventist, whatever it is that you belong to. You put your little white shirt on and black pants and black shoes every Sunday, and you give the people the idea that you're a pillar of the community, although they don't know you're foul-mouthed and how you wish people dead and all that good stuff that you do to impress your church. Well, you're still better off there. Anyway, you have a wonderful evening, Kevin, and you're killing it, man. You're killing it. You're absolutely killing it. That you are.